Witches, I need something cool to wear, something that says this Grand Admiral has flair. Bitches, beware, you gotta get some blue paint in your underwear. Threads of destiny make me look so cool. Threads of destiny, don't be tripping, tie your red ribbon round this undead fool.
It's the Making Star Wars show.
And what do you sacrifice?
Calm, kindness, kinship, love. I've given up all chance and inner peace. I've made my mind a sunless space. I share my dreams with ghosts. I wake up every day to an equation I wrote 15 years ago from which there's only one conclusion. I'm damned for what I do. My anger, my ego, my unwillingness to yield, my eagerness to fight, they've set me on a path from which there is no escape. I yearn to be a savior against injustice without contemplating the cost, and by the time I looked down, there was no longer any ground beneath my feet. What is? What is my sacrifice? I'm condemned to use the tools of my enemy to defeat them. I burn my decency for someone else's future. I burn my life to make a sunrise that I know I'll never see. No, the ego that started this fight will never have a mirror, or an audience, or the light of gratitude. So what do I sacrifice? Everything.
Uncle told me, why did you have to go? Uncle told me, Billion wants to know, Grand Admiral from why so blue? Why so blue? Show me do-be-do-be-do.
Become a channel member.
I'm just like that man they call Georgie Proven Kai. I'll break the girls' hearts and I'll make them cry. I'm like a dog being peak, a freak without warning, not having appetite for love. Cause me, so vote me.
Me so horny. Me so horny. Me so horny. Me love you long time.
Jason is here.
Everybody, I'm Jason Moore from MakingStarWars.net. Hopefully you can hear me. I can hear you. Can you hear me? Roberto? God damn it, Roberto. Where are you? Come on. Hopefully you guys can actually hear me though, because I just lost Rob. You know, that's how it goes. That's how it goes on this show. We're held together by popsicle sticks and some gum or whatever. Today we're gonna look at that Reddit document about what we got wrong and what we got right. I barely glimpsed it, and either it's gonna make me happy or send me into a childish fit of rage, whichever. Who knows what it'll be. That's the thing with me. I'm a pretty volatile person. You don't know what you're gonna get. I have a lot to work out. I'm seeing a therapist 6 days out of the week. They take the 7th day off to rest. But other than that, we're gonna look at that and see how we did. Mid-season, I didn't look at it. I know Bespin did, and I think he was, if I remember correctly, a little annoyed by some emissions. Not the admissions, the omissions for it, and that was it was like Teth, I think. Yeah, they got some things wrong in the mid-season. I haven't looked at this one entirely, so like I said, I don't know if they got missing anything. But Teth and Mandalore, Bespin was the first one to say it, so we'll give him a little bit of credit on that, I think. And then and he said that Anakin would appear in episode 5 of Clone Wars flashbacks. And the same article also mentioned the hologram in 7 and the ghost in 8. So, if that's not in there, I just put it in there. All right. So get over it, accept it. So this is it right here. This is from a Reddit. And I'll be honest, that Reddit forum where this originates is not always so fair to me. They just, continually move the goalposts. You're like not allowed to say my name or something. I don't know. It changes whichever way the wind's blowing, depending on which moderator wants to kiss whose butt that day, But you would think, considering that they know all that shit isn't true, and that it's acknowledged that isn't true, that there would be a different attitude. But once again, they just moved the goalpost. But the person who made this, I'm not saying is like that. I don't know the person who made this or anything like that. I don't keep up with the forum since I can't participate in it because I'm banned from it. So yeah, this is by breakdown by Professor Young Discord, Return of the Sith on Reddit. So they have like a little key up here, yellow being prominent leakers, this beigeish color being the trades, red, dark red official announcement, industry sites, so stuff like that. So like I said, disclaimer, we have reached the midpoint of the season, and here's everything that we have left for the remainder of Star Wars. So this starts as the midpoint document, and I saw this being shared as being like, for the end thing. Now, one thing I got a lot recently on this, I got a lot of stuff about this week from both people being like, hey, is it that, or people being like kind of crappy. The Threads of Destiny and the Stormtroopers. I mean, all I could do is stand by my initial report, and I do. Those guys are going to come back to life. Hey, how's it going, Rob?
I feel like a fat bastard. Yeah. yeah.
Really?
It's pretty good. Oh, sorry. Sorry. First thing when I wake up, I sound like George Lucas. I roll right out of bed and I just
well, that's because you are George Lucas.
I may have gone too far.
Sorry, Marcia. I may have gone too far last night in a couple of places. George.
In a couple of spots. Yeah.
Yeah, the furry.
Hey, how was your weekend? I read our comments. Bad for Rob.
Oh no, I didn't. I don't read. I don't read the comments too much. Or I do it. I do read the comments actually. I haven't read them.
People forget you gave the last episode a 5.5, but I'm the asshole because I went to a 4.
Yeah. I told you, Rob. You have to get to say 2 good things for every bad thing, or they turn on you.
I started the whole show with the good things.
Yeah, but they don't remember. The short attention span, generally speaking.
Damn it.
But yeah. So anyways,
all right, let's go.
Yeah,
what'd you screw up now, Jason? What'd you get wrong, huh?
Well, no, just to clear the air on that thing. Do I believe they are still like zombies? And yeah, I mean, to what degree are they zombies? Are they like brains, Return of the Living Dead style? I don't know. I kind of doubt it. I think we've already seen reanimated stormtroopers in the show, and they weren't doing that. So I feel like the answer's already there on that front of what kind of zombies are these. And it's like, when we saw the zombies reanimated on Dathomir in the Night Sisters arc after their partial destruction or major destruction, however you want to look at it. Those were like very old skeletal bodies, which then once again probably played more into that kind of classic zombie vibe from it, because they were long dead. They were like dead in these pods and they were like preserved. What we have
they're not
here,
wearing those ribbons because they're clever. You know what I mean? Like,
right. Yeah. I mean, yeah, if it turns out I'm completely wrong on this, it would just be like the Night Sisters are just blessing these guys all the time with these red ribbons, and they're putting up with it for some reason. I mean, we all love a witchy woman. I guess maybe that's why.
Tie a red ribbon around the old stormtrooper.
The tree? Yeah, I don't know.
It feels to me, Jason.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we won't know until someone
tomorrow?
leaks. It feels to me like the idea was to go full zombie, and somewhere along the line, someone pulled a JJ and was like, "Well, imply, but don't." You know what I mean? Don't, because why did Morok turn into fart dust? You know what I mean? That was clearly no one's ever killed a Sith, an Inquisitor, whatever, right? A bad guy before, and he turned into fucking fart dust, right? That's never happened.
But like my theory is Morok's fart dusting is was an idea of what happens when they die at post ribbon. And then he just didn't use it, and he just used it. Oh, what if he's a smoke monster? What if he's like, what if that creature from Lost was a race in Star Wars, and then like, you know, it became an Inquisitor? It might just be like that fucking silly at the end of the day. But so what do I think the rules are? The implication of rules based off of what I've heard and then what I'm seeing. I think when a stormtrooper dies in that place, a ribbon's tied around them, and that reanimates them. Now, the ribbon isn't immortality. It's not like, oh, you get to come back as many times as you want. You know, it's not like that. I think simply the hex, the charm, the curse, however you want to look at it, will activate upon death, and then maybe needs to be worn even after, you know, reanimation or something like that.
So what won't happen is when Filoni does a special edition of Episode 9, Palpatine won't just be one big ribbon, right? Like,
no. but once again, that's the thing I have to keep putting the brakes on all of these theorists. The witches aren't going to do it for Palpatine. He wiped them out. He pretended to be their you know, warlocky boyfriend, and then stole their magic, and then had him fucking stole their son, turned their son into a Sith apprentice, and murdered them all. They're not going to be like, you know what, it was a tumultuous relationship. They were both a little toxic, and you know that's not going to happen.
Well, that's what Palpatine did to him. What's left on the planet for Balin to find?
So yeah, that's, and a couple of things on that before we get into the document. Like just these are theories. The only thing that makes sense about that place that we know about it is that there is immortality, and that's what Thrawn wants from it. He has sort of the power of immortality for an army. That's the point of it. That's why they're not like brains, you know, just tearing apart the ships and eating people and stuff. That's not what the story beat is about. The story beat is about how do we get a dead empire and then have it be able to attack a living republic? How do we bring back the empire's ghost and then make it attack it? Well, we do it with this magic. And so I think that, like, you want to keep the Night Sisters in that universe very small. That way you can't just be like, why isn't everything just use magic? Just bring back everybody with the magic, you know, continually play that game. So by going that route, by keeping the Night Sisters small, the ability to do that, like if you want to think about it, like imagine you have this is Star Wars, so we just assume there's like trillion people in like the Empire, right? How long is it going to take 3 witches to go and tie a red ribbon around 1 trillion people? It's not really something you could just do constantly. You know what I mean?
No, like, you can round them up on a bizza, right?
A big sewing machine. It's like a little foot pedal.
People off the street, and you make them start tying people up like the Empire does, right? Like what they do, man.
But yeah, so that's so my take on it is that, you know, the Night Sisters aren't going to revive Palpatine, but they may be fascists. They may agree with Thrawn's initial, like, you know, idea. They may be all about letting Thrawn pretend to be emperor, and then they may plan just to slit his throat and then rule the galaxy, you know, as the Empress mothers or some shit. We don't know. I mean, it's ancient Rome style stuff. So, you know, the bad guys aren't going to be cool. You know what I mean?
Right before we get to this, I just want to be able to remember, since I was a little kid, I struggled with if Darth Vader is the Dark Lord of the Sith, and then in 1999 I find out there's only 2 of them, and the other one's his boss. Who's he a lord of? See, that's the problem when you start thinking about Star Wars a little too much, right?
A little too much, yeah.
Who's he a lord of? Who's he a lord
Right.
of, Jason?
Yeah, I mean, might be the singer lord for all I know. Might have a D at the end, a U and a D in it. I don't know.
He's a lord of the board. Lord of the
Yeah.
board. All right, come on, let's do some guano waves. All right.
Yeah.
Let's get on with all the shit you got wrong.
Right.
Let's do it, Jason.
So right here, time jump midway. Ahsoka will have a mid-season time jump. Without jumping the gun too much, I believe the epilogue to Rebels takes place in the middle of Ahsoka show's timeline. Yeah. And that's how it's seen. But like I said, so here's my caveat to my information. And total respect to Bespin and Economics Legal, who've done a great job with their stuff. The stuff I'm getting is like, I don't know if this even in this document, but remember, like, I'm the guy who had to figure out, or did figure out, like, oh, this is going into a new place. They're in a galaxy that they've never been in before. So like, I'm just dealing with like that initial like crumb. And then I'm having to pull on the threads of destiny to figure out like what is the rest of the stuff. What are these stormtroopers? Why do they have like I'm laying out the lay of the land in this. I'm not seeing it. I'm hearing things as it's been filmed. So the people that are participating in this stuff,
you could make up
me.
far more interesting shit than this. This is going to be honest. Like, if did you guys
not
see all the videos?
Like a maniac?
Let's see all the videos Jason makes. Like, if we were just making shit up, we would make up way more interesting shit than this. I mean,
no, and once again, I don't think they're like saying that, but what I'm saying is like, there's a big difference between like seeing it and then leaking what you saw.
Or this is why you never describe art to people, Jason.
And then, well, I've done it.
Describe this. I know you described Grogu in a mech suit. No, I mean, but beyond that, like, just describe what you had for dinner to someone and see if it captivates folks. You know what I mean? Like,
your mom.
Huh? Oh.
All right, so
my dead mom, like my alive mom.
Well, I didn't mean you.
You know, you're fucked.
Like, I mean, hey, I'll threads of destiny. I'll threads of destiny. Your mom will become your new dad.
Oh,
I mean,
no,
if I have to.
This show went dark. Darkest show on YouTube.
Yeah. No, yeah. So and once again, like, I knew that they filmed that shot that we saw. So I believe the epilogue to Rebels takes place in the middle of the Ahsoka show timeline. So when I know they're filming that, and we know that yet they're going to put the jump in there, once again, what happens actually still doesn't make sense. So I kind of stand by that. But with essentially having 2 4-part stories, several sources have confirmed this over the past few months. Bespin Bulletin has also confirmed this. The report comes pretty high confidence. And like that's what happened. Now you could be a little stickler and go, well, actually, the 5th episode is a little bit different. Okay, whatever, nerd. You know what I mean? But like, I could never actually delineate that information there, you know? So
you can't say delineate the way I can't say
delineate. I couldn't say just now. Delineate. I could say delineate. I just didn't want to come out. All right, a month or so later, MSW doubled down on the timeline report saying the first 4 episodes are during Mando 2 and the second 4 are during Mando season 3. And I think that has been confirmed. And it says now this was deleted shortly after. That is not true. I've never deleted a fucking thing from Discord. Don't know. Once I said this on the show 20 times, so not sure why Discord would even be the source for that, but cool, man.
Wait, we have a Discord?
I said it though. I said it. Yeah, we have a Discord. But yeah, I definitely never
forget about that thing.
I definitely never said it and deleted it. That is maybe you lost it. I don't know.
Covering your tracks, Ward, trying to bury the bodies, you know.
Beats me. But back when they were filming Ahsoka, I was told the first half of the earlier part of Mando, the second half is later part of Mando stuff, making Star Wars. And that has that's happened
seeing
now.
As how nobody can tell me when this timeline is one way or the other, it makes as much sense internally. I can see internally them thinking this, and then if you look at the show, you can see it in the same way that I said all of this can take place after season 2, and you could see it. And all of this could take place before season 1. Like it doesn't.
Okay, the note
like
says,
I said, it's the JJ thing. It doesn't specifically put a stake in the ground on a timeline. And Star Wars fans, for right now, they're obsessed with 2 things, in my opinion: timelines and cameos. Like
timelines, cameos, and continuity, canon.
Yeah,
canon.
Canon. You're delusional if you think there really is a canon, but
But
go
okay,
ahead.
so they say they won't be making this incorrect just yet. However, since making Star Wars Time Jump report originated from how long have I been out? One rotation. No, it did not. It did based off of the fact that the first 4 episodes are about Morgan Elsbeth being arrested, and on the second half of it, the second half of the show, once they get out there, we know that the siege of Mandalore, or not the siege of Mandalore, but the war on Mandalore from Mandalorian season 3 has happened. That's why. That's where my stuff comes from.
The first episode could take place after season 2 because Morgan Elsbeth's arrested.
Yeah.
And then the 5th episode, whenever Ahsoka and David Tennant are in space with the whales, that could easily be in season 3 of Mando whenever Grogu's looking out the window and seeing space whales. I mean,
yeah,
it could be. You could easily line that up if you wanted to.
Not our theory. That's a theory from the internet, right?
Yeah, well, it makes more sense than like half the fucking internet still thinks Jar Jar is a Dark Lord of the Sith. So what do you want me to do?
Yeah. I've been told the second half of the season is the most exciting, and that's I agree with that.
Well,
but once again, but that kind of thing. No, but
that's subjective.
It doesn't. Yeah, exactly. It is completely subjective. I mean, if it turned out it was more boring than the first half, he wouldn't be wrong. He still wouldn't be wrong. So kind of a weird quote to get in there. Episode 7 are pretty thrilling. So once again, it's like all of that stuff is subjective.
Hey man, by the way, half our audience gave that episode. Like I was watching Vader's Lair, right? When this stuff goes down, they're like 11 out of 10 for episode 7. So subjectiveness. Subjectiveness on any of these individual episodes.
Yeah. That kind of stuff is character locations. So we see one new planet, Peridia, and so that is true. Now I'm going to be honest with you guys. I think something happened during production because the Nodia, the one I thought was the D and the T, I got them wrong because I heard it said verbally. I think that they were kind of consolidated potentially, and there's even moments where you see the subtitles, the bandits are speaking Nodia. That doesn't make sense that the bandits would be speaking hermit crab language. So I'm not sure, like maybe it was just always confusing and a mess. But
what about Cetus? Does Cetus count as a new planet, or has that been seen before?
No, that was a new planet. Yeah.
So you got that wrong.
Wait, what do you mean?
2 new planets. Well, that means 2 new planets. Oh, for 7 and 8. I thought you meant
no. But I always said when they get to, I don't know if the first place they arrive is Nodia. I never knew if they went right to Ezra or if they searched around like that universe or galaxy for a while. I didn't know.
I goofed up and saw that it was episode 7 and 8. Right. I thought it meant for the whole series. Yes. Okay. Yes. Yeah. There is only going to be one planet, new planet, and.
Yeah, Hera is not featured much after episode 5. That's correct. Zeb does not appear. And that lines up with what I was saying the whole time. I'm like, I don't have anything on Zeb. And then once we saw Zeb in Mando 3, I thought, oh, maybe he just like is a pilot or something. And that's why, but
maybe he'll randomly appear as a hologram 2 seconds before the show ends and just to fuck with Jason.
Yeah. So Economics Legal says hasn't given any specifics about who calls to Baylan. However, there are a few things they said. In response to asking if Baylan finds what he's looking for, it's likely they either know or he doesn't, it's likely they either know he doesn't or they don't believe so based on what they've seen. So the thing about that is I know that I don't know what it is. I'm going to be honest. I don't know what Baylan's thing is. I'm left in the dark on that. That was one of the things that never was clearly said to me, but it happened. But it was filmed though. He has stuff in the next episode, and there was supposed to be answers for him. Now, is it the biggest answer? That I don't know, but there are answers for Baylan in that they did film it. So if it's not there, it was maybe removed because of Stevenson's death. That said, I don't know how to go. So right here we go. Yeah, this one seems fair. Big battles in the distant galaxy. A large fight will take place in a location called the Notian Highlands. Most likely, this is actually the Notian Highlands.
Oh,
yeah, obviously.
Oh, big loss, Jason.
Well, yeah, no, I mean, when people speak and they do that, I've even heard one of the sources say it again, and I still hear a D when they say it. So That's just me. But
Hey,
as we know,
when I was a kid, for the
uh-huh.
longest time, I thought you said I love Chew
Oh,
because
okay,
every song said Chew, right? It didn't say
yeah,
you, it'd say Chew in the 80s. I don't know why. I loved Chew. I was like, I love Chew too.
yeah.
Yeah, one
So
letter off.
on this one, I don't know if like what the order is on this one, but I've been saying that yet they were Night Sisters for the whole fucking time. In fact, the Night Sisters were one
Yeah.
of the first things that I figured out.
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of Claudia Black, and when I heard that it was her, I was like, I didn't even say it was her because I didn't want anything to come out towards her because I was like, yeah, let Claudia Black be the Night Sister. But anyways, yeah, so that's something. I don't know who Diamond Fire TV is, but they're not wrong. There are two others, the temporary Undead Night Sisters and the actual one that Thrawn has built for himself from a new species called the Nogi. I don't know anything about that shit right there. That's new to me.
Yeah, and there ain't no Grizz.
Oh wait,
there ain't no Nogi.
See, once again, that sounds like
Noti.
this person has the Noti confused and thinks that
Noti.
that it's that, and
Nogi.
that kind of makes sense.
Yeah, but
So
they got a letter wrong too. So that's how you lose Wheel of Fortune.
Well, I will say though, on that one, they're not Thrawn's army, so that I would give them that one wrong. But the undead stormtroopers will be on the hut serving Thrawn under the command of Balin, but led into battle by Shin. They, along with Shin, will be tracking the reunited Ezra, Sabine, and Ahsoka. And that
sounds way more epic than we actually saw.
Okay, but we're not here to
commanding into battle.
Yeah. Once again, that
everyone was force pushed by team.
Yeah, when they shoot that fight with the wagon circled for 2 weeks or something.
Lamest fight in Star Wars after the
okay, but once again, I can't know that.
I know.
Yeah. It's like literally impossible for me to know.
I know.
That's why I try not to be like, it's an epic battle where friends and foes are tested. I try.
This is like when Kevin Smith describes something to you, right? And then you go see it. You're like, oh.
You're like, oh, fucking nerds.
I love Kevin. He's a hype man.
Me too. He's a hype man.
Good hype man.
These stormtroopers that I talk about, I'm not going to drop all the info on them because they link to other stories. They're in the show a lot. Yeah. And I don't remember when I said that. Now, this one right here, they're also related to Thrawn. Balin is a cyborg droid named Karnas who serves Thrawn and Balin, but it's different from Balin's assassin. And could this have been a code name for Enoch? No, I always knew who Enoch was. The droid Karnas was the droids that we see in the beginning of the show. The ones that we see like the HK 47s, whatever the fuck that number is. There was one that was like who had a name, and that was Karnas. Now, I think we should have saw Karnas already, so I'm thinking that they're not going to be in there. But those droids were that Ahsoka fights earlier on Corellia were part of Balin's forces, and apparently they're not now. So I'm just going to chalk it up to that shit was changed and cut.
I feel a lot of JJ style retconning on this show, dude, for whatever reason. I don't know why. I sense it. It's elusive to me, but I feel it, Jason. I'm feeling it. Also, wasn't Karnas or was it Karnak? Was it what was the you know what I mean? John,
yeah.
what's it? I'm not come on. White hair.
I wanted to do Karnas as I want to be, but he hasn't showed up, so I can't do the song.
With Ed McMahon and the guy I hate. I've deleted him from my head. What's that
Johnny
guy's
Carson?
name?
Johnny
Johnny
Carson?
Go, Johnny. I've deleted his wife.
The Intercontinental wife beating champion of late night TV.
Yeah. Karnas.
Yeah. The Karnas Johnson show.
I do delete things from my head, dude. It's crazy. All right. Go
Zabrak troopers will appear wearing white and burgundy uniforms. Christopher Mark on Twitter. Now on that one right there. Well, I think that the source for his stuff probably got the Mando troopers incorrect before the suits were painted. Thought that the Mando troopers were stormtroopers. That makes sense to me. I know Christopher to like on Twitter. Like, he doesn't strike me as a guy who makes shit up. And so I think that his source told him something that was true from a certain point.
Yeah, you've gotten leaked photos at times of unpainted costumes. I've seen those. It's happened in the past.
It does happen. Yeah. And once again, I don't know, but that's just me trying to make sense of that, because like I said, Christopher could make all kinds of shit up and he doesn't. So Who fights
Yeah, that's
who? Yeah.
this is not the kind of thing people make up. People make up things like, folks. Unfortunately, a third of our audience goes and watches these other shows, even though they know they're full of shit because
Yeah.
they got nothing else to do, Jason. They just turn it on and listen to these stupid ideas all day.
It's the way it goes.
Yeah.
We will have sequences where Balin and Shin, as well as Morgan Elsbeth and the witches, stand off against Ahsoka, Sabine, and Ezra. That currently sounds like it may have been a conflation of multiple different fight sequences that don't happen at the same time.
Yeah.
But it will happen in the next episode.
Ah.
So, and yeah, I mean, all of these people are fighting all the time. They were fighting all the fucking time in the show. Ahsoka duels Balin, Sabine duels Shin, and Ezra disposes of stormtroopers with the Force. This may be what we saw in episode 7. Yeah, I mean, that's where I literally from the report where I talk about. I believe this is from the report where I talk about Force karate. And so yeah,
Right. You didn't do the choreography. Hold on, we got a super chat.
We did.
Mumbo Jumbo says, "Are these stormtroopers dead or what? Why are they kintsugi gold and red ribbons? Doesn't make any sense to me if they're still alive. Your show, J and R.
Thank you, Mumbo.
Word to your mother."
Yeah, thank you, Mumbo. Yeah. The Kitsugi stormtroopers. So it could be a combination of two things, though. To go back to that, the ribbons, I believe, like I said, the ribbons I've been told are hexes and charms. So I believe those are what bring them back to life. The Kitsugi gold stuff, that's probably the magic. Actually, this is what it is. That is the magic putting the armor back together from the broken armor after battle when the warrior's fallen. So that's it's all magic based. And and they I believe in the next episode you're going to see those crates that we see them moving around the background.
You don't continually call them witches in the show. Shin's always like, the witches.
Yeah.
Witches. I mean, just make a super cut at it of her every time she says witches. And they don't use magic, right? They have to be using actual magic to be witches. Like
that's I believe an expositional narrative choice for the normies to understand like what a night sister is. If they say like night sisters that they use. Yeah, so it's like what we would say because she's not one of them. So she's sort of, witches. So but they and so I believe that those tanks in the background are meant to keep the bodies fresh because the fresher the trooper, the better the resurrection, the more they can resurrect them and reuse them. And remember, like,
Thrawn likes to touch.
Well, in theory, when they get back to the Coruscant galaxy, and I think there's going to be like a little baby civil war going on. Now, I think this is my interpretation of the galactic events, my interpretation, not like a scoop or something. You're going to have a bunch of people that wanted the Empire, like those assholes on Corellia. They're going to immediately fall into line. There's going to be people that are immediately down to be in Thrawn's army once that happens. People that are afraid, that just think that the New Republic are a bunch of cowards, because they kind of are. They're very weak.
Evil Michael Scott guy.
Yeah,
my least favorite performance in this entire series, up there with Pele Moto.
The guys, who just like listen to might and power are going to join back up, and then when they die, Thrawn is going to be able to like resurrect them. Now, the whole plot thing moving forward that I want to see is how is Thrawn going to get the Night Sisters by the balls? There has to be a flip at some point where they want something and he's able to manipulate that for his main goals, to make evil work. So I don't know what it's going to be though. So this is one. I'll own this one as being right and wrong. When you get down to it, because wolves appear in the show, and they are in the show. Now, we thought that they were Loth wolves based off of like art of Ahsoka writing the Loth wolf from the show and stuff like that, and like the one that they were calling Doom and everything. And I don't think so that's why I thought like, oh, that must be like Kanan's appearance and all of that stuff. But it turns out they're these like willow dogs, So the results are pretty good. Once or so, there's like building a puppet like the Wolf of the Neverending Story, and I think that they might have actually done that, but I don't know. So they brought in a horse company to use live horses, not his source, and they substituted as the mount for Ahsoka, which will be CGI'd over. And we've seen those lots of times, you know. And then he was a wolf, and yeah, they're like wolves. And so, and then Economics Legal's like, I don't think it's a loath wolf, which is correct. I don't think it is either, unless a loath wolf shows up in the final episode. Which, if that happens, then okay, that makes sense. But I don't think that's going to be the case. I think it's just those.
Didn't Sotho become the Loth Ranger of the New
Right.
Republic? What?
Yeah.
See how it works? It's all tied, Jason.
You know what's funny? Economics Legal confirms that Ahsoka wears her white cloak in episode, but does not get a staff, because she has like a staff in Star Wars Rebels at the end when they're showing like that part, and they put it in for the character in Fortnite. That's like the pickaxe is that fucking staff that's not even in the show, just in the cartoon. So yeah, and then so right here, so Bespin does get that little thing right here. Anakin shows up as a Force Ghost in episode 8, and is clearly proud of his apprentice and looks fondly upon her, or towards her. So right there, like it looks like there is that credit for Bespin. And
Force Ghost can hang around 5 years after.
Yeah, well, see, the thing is that like there's never going to be that moment in the show where they come back and talk about Ahsoka's like, you know, when she's drowning and has, you know, goes into the world between worlds and all that stuff. I don't think there's ever going to be like a clear explanation for it in the show. My opinion is that the ghost showing up at the end in that way is sort of the acknowledgement that was Anakin testing her, and that Anakin did have like a part in it. But once again, when you're filming it, there's no way to know that. You know what I mean? There's no way to like for somebody to tell me that at that point, unless they had filmed all of it. So that would require me to wait until everything was filmed before I know anything, you know? So, so no, okay. Yeah. There was some weird shit in here later on. Remember on the show, we'll get to it when we find it, if it's in here, but remember on the show when we were, talking about like the Ms, is it, who's the Ms. Marvel? Is it Captain Marvel? I can't remember which one's which, Rob. The one that's really powerful in Marvel? Captain Marvel. So Bespin uses this analogy where he says like Captain Marvel is a god, and if you have Captain Marvel show up in Marvel in any story, then it just fixes the story. So you have to have Captain Marvel not there while.
Well, if you're a bad writer, sure.
Okay, yeah, but you get the point, right?
Right.
So if you separate the apprentice from Ahsoka, then now the apprentice is challenged. I saw like something going around saying that where Bespin is supposedly saying Ahsoka is like a Force god, and it's like, no, that's not what he was ever saying. He was saying that she is like a god, like a Greek god. You know what I mean, if you will.
Yeah, she's saying she's the one who shows up. She's the, she's not going to die. She's super powerful. She's going to solve everyone's problems, and it seems to be what's continuing. Look at the way the battle worked out in the last episode. You know what I mean? Like,
but that's
and she shows up, and then they all win. You know,
and that's why you end up most likely separating Ahsoka, or why you might want to separate Ahsoka and Ezra and Sabine from Ahsoka, because then she's by herself, and now the kids have to do it, have to learn to become powerful and solve their own problems. You know what I mean? So
first they gotta learn to talk to one another, and these characters can't do that. They gotta spend 8 episodes like going, well, maybe I'll talk to you later.
Yeah.
And so like 20 years to talk to you, but I'll talk to you later.
So sources are saying the good guys fell on the first season of Ahsoka while on a mission to rescue Ezra Bridger. Ahsoka and Sabine seem to inherit a second mission to stop Grand Admiral Thrawn from returning to the core of the galaxy. And so that last part is sort of where we're at. And yeah, they're just originally just trying to get him, and then now they're having in this last one, they have to stop it. And then Thrawn does return to the core of the known galaxy at what I believe is the climax of the 8th and final episode of the season. Sources described him as exiting his ship's gantry, I think, and with his forces before him, and in the moment looks at his allies, reveling in the moment, and promises a reckoning is coming. Yeah, and now that right there, I was told was the end. And then could that be the 6th episode when we see what's on screen? It's also possible. It's also possible that they filmed both of those scenes together, considering like what they needed to do, because they're going to have to like set up stormtroopers and clone them, rush them
Yeah, and
essentially.
Filoni's already
So,
repeated dialogue in this series already. I mean, sometimes in
Yeah.
the same episode.
Yeah.
You know, like oddly so.
Right. Yeah. At the end of the show, the bad guys win. Things don't go to plan. Not everybody makes it home. One source called it a trade-off. Another source just said, yeah, that's what happens. No one will elaborate yet. And so, yeah. And then at this point, like it's such, at the very end, it's like, let's just see what happens next week or tomorrow. I do believe
Shogun Orta, Jason sent you $2.
Oh, right.
You guys hear any word about Ahsoka's episode 8 runtime? Huh? That's what he wants to know.
Well, why are you being mean to the people paying us today and nice to the people that aren't? What? You're doing it backwards, bud.
Don't judge me.
Yeah, that one dude who puts the run times out, he's always right. I don't know if Santa's in the chat. Santa, do you know what that runtime was on that?
69.
69. Yeah, I think it's from memory. This is just from memory. This isn't like a thing. I think it's like around 45-minute mark, something like that.
Look, Jason.
And but I know it's out. I believe that runtime is out.
See?
Okay.
See? You don't know.
Okay.
Jason, you don't know.
No,
This is my force power.
You can do George Lucas and Shogun. I know. Now I accept it. Sorry. At the end of the show, the bad guys win. Up front, Shin and Baylan stories will go beyond this season. Yeah, they are supposed to. There are plans for these characters. I'm not of the opinion Ray Stevenson. I am of the opinion Ray Stevenson will need to be recast. Also true. And then, like, unless we get like a weird thing where he walks away in that episode, they just cut him out of the rest of it. I don't think they would do that. I don't know if they could have done that. I don't know if they'd have the time to do that with the strikes were and stuff. So yeah, I still stand by that opinion. Also that informed opinion, I'd say. Some of the conversations I've had over the last few weeks is that Ahsoka demands a season 2. Also, I believe that to be true as well, but I would concede that there could always be one of those things
it's figurative. It depends on, like, as in they don't actually tell a complete fucking story. Sure.
Yeah.
Or it's so great we need more of this. I mean, sure.
It's like,
you can look at it both ways.
My mantra is that it's this current El Segundo era film Star Wars series is an anthology show, and they're just pretending like it's 4 or 5 different shows to not pay writers and people for the continuing season.
That
you know
sounds
what I mean?
Exactly like the plan.
Yeah.
I mean, serious.
Yeah, that's why we have, like the Mando episode wrapping up Grogu and what happened to him in Book of Boba Fett. It doesn't make sense, but it does make sense if you consider that. So anyways, so yeah, could they just all of a sudden make Mandalorian season 4 very Ahsoka centric? They completely could, and that's probably very possible that could happen. If they don't do anything weird, if things go according to how you would think it would go, it would be a second season because one of the characters doesn't make it back home. So
I'm not calling it second season. I'm calling it part 2.
Yeah, well, you could call it. I mean, you might as well call it part 9. I mean, it's all the, you know what I mean? They're all the same thing of that same.
Shiza. No.
Shiza.
Yeah. Shiza. Yeah. But
so, user Diamond Fire TV. See, I don't know anything about like who this is, so I don't know what the thing is. But they say Mon Mothma is setting up her own force of mercenaries, bounty hunters, and off the record to investigate Imperial projects. But we've already kind of seen that with Carson Teva hiring Mando to go do stuff off the books. So I guess
she's not organizing shit. Yeah. She's just like, oh, I guess you got caught. Oh, I guess you didn't get caught. She's playing that game.
Yeah. So this is your twist. You will probably not know totally what it is about until the last scene. Remember when I saw that guy as Thrawn, and then he's like, "No, I'm not Thrawn." I was like, "Yeah, you son of a bitch." That's such a Thrawn thing to say, is what I tweeted out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm definitely not Thrawn. Look
Yeah.
at me with my little Thrawn voice. I've got hexes and charms. I don't know why I did that.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, here it is. Ahsoka the White. Possible speculation. Ahsoka's sort of godlike. Bestman Bulletin on the. No, that was him saying like she's so powerful that if she is there, then the kids don't have anything to do, and she just solves the problem. She's Superman. That's what he means. Not that she will become a force god. Like, this isn't Mike Zero stream. I wouldn't do that. I'd be like, what the fuck you talking about, Bestman Bolton? But Bestman wouldn't do that either. So, you know what I mean? And then sounds like My Time to Shine was taking the stuff that was out and making it completely sexier or something. I don't know what was going on
See,
there.
now this is the kind of shit people make up. Hold on. Anakin is now a Mortis god. He's in the world between worlds. Okay. Holding the universe together.
What?
So, yeah, all right. So I can see these different what if scenarios. Like her younger self fighting Anakin instead of Obi-Wan Kenobi. That would have been cool. She's herself fighting Thrawn instead of Ezra. Yeah. Yeah. Look, I think, man,
so
it's a
you want
it's
you
the
know what
way
this
it's
is, Rob?
executed is a stirring and moving accomplishment that says pretty much whatever you want it to say.
Yeah.
It can say nothing and everything. It really is. What's that effect Lucas likes to use where you stare at something and attribute a feeling?
Yeah.
Kershnikiv.
No, stop. You're making it worse. The Khrushchev effect.
Khrushchev. I'm close. So come on, I'm close.
When you do that, you make me lose it because I'm like, oh man, Khrushchev effect.
It is a Khrushchev effect because he just said, I want to live doesn't mean anything. Like okay, she wasn't looking to die. She didn't go on that. She wasn't like a suicide mission. Like she was getting rid of her Padawan and getting rid of all attachments and going there to do one last thing. And this is going to, it wasn't like she was giving up. So it's not,
okay.
It's whatever you're attributing it to
we need to look at what My Time to Shine's deal has been like over the last year. It was NFTs. And now we're into a place with Twitter where you are paid for your engagement. So if I was to go out, for instance, on Twitter and say, oh, it turns out that Star Wars is so woke that Grand Admiral Thrawn is killed and his daughter takes over, I would be rewarded. I would be rewarded financially for that because Elon is a genius, a true fucking genius. And but that's what would happen. And so I think that, in my opinion, uninformed, I don't know. I can't read their heart. I don't know what their mind.
Get off Twitter. I did.
But if I look at it from a financial perspective, I think that's what that person is doing. Is they're just on to the next thing that makes them cash. And I don't know. It is what it is. You know.
It'll soon be X-Men rumors. You watch. That's going to be the next big cash cow for these folks. The minute they know they're making X-Men stuff, I'm telling you, it's going to be. So it's gonna the money's just gonna be thrown at them to make up stupid nonsense.
Yeah.
So it'll be fun. It'll be fun for us because we won't have to deal with as much of this. Right now, Star Wars is kind of the only thing on the board.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There really isn't anything else going on. So
yeah. So this says, most of the information is from Making Star Wars for the last 9 to 10 months. It's just sexified. Now there's always a chance somebody took my information, took it to My Time to Shine. My Time to Shine just said, oh, okay, and thought it was new. I don't know, but My Time to Shine knows me, follows my stuff, so I kind of think they would know. But.
He developed a force karate. He's just force pushing.
Yeah,
I mean, Darth Maul could do some kicks. I mean, I don't know, man. Look, I'm trying not to be the guy who's like tearing stuff apart. It's just when you have what Ray Park did with the wushu stuff in episode 1 in front of you, and you're like, we're going to do some forced martial arts. I'm sorry, but there is a standard. And, there is a base standard in Star Wars already. And
and that goes both ways, though, because you're right. And it does make it where it would always be inferior. But then also, that's a television series, and that's what the main staples.
Yeah, but I can show you, there's a guy, Shubu. I can show you people on Instagram. They're doing fun martial art choreography things, and they're just like 2 people in a room. This is just, I'm sorry, no, it doesn't get a pass from me.
So will Zeb be in it? No word on whether Zeb or Callus will be in the show. Leaning towards no. Making Star Wars. Yeah, I never heard anything super credible about that. You know what I mean? About them showing up, about those characters showing up. I always thought
what does it matter to the story? I'm just trying to, other than that they want their cartoon in live action. Everyone wants to get. I'm just trying to figure out.
Document is not prioritized according to that. This is just casting stuff.
The only way this works out in the story is if at the end Hera gets Carson. Carson goes to that bar from Mando 3, gets his buddies together, and they go lunch. Somehow they're able to all get into. They all shove themselves into whales and fly off to go.
No. No, how that works, Rob, is that they know they're coming. They get back. Thrawn returns. There's a small amount of Republic forces that go, oh my god, they fucking are back. And then they that force intervenes, allows our heroes to escape and live, as opposed to just getting killed by Thrawn right there. And then now the galaxy knows, oh shit, it's on. And then obviously the Republic, some people will still not accept that truth. They'll be like, nah, man, you got your January 6thers, you know what I mean? Like, they just won't accept it. So anyways, but that's so Zeb,
Sugar Order just sent you $10, Jason.
what?
$10.
All right, you want
He
to see my
says,
titty?
Rick Moranis is God stuff. Abeloth feels what? Feels there's
No.
just too little time to build that. What is this?
Okay, Mortis
What
God
is it?
stuff and Abeloth feels like there's just too little time to build that stuff up. Could hint at it in the finale, but we need to pay off for following Balin all this time. Something big, so little time. Yeah, that's why. So yeah, that Mortis stuff. There's just no way that exposition stuff is there. The Abeloth stuff, that right there, my opinion, the people at Lucasfilm don't respect that. They don't like that. They think that's kind of a joke. So I would not imagine it would get too far through the story group stuff, even to be honest with you.
Someone
that's just
was
my
playing World
reading.
of Warcraft. It was like, I really like Azeroth.
Yeah.
So hold on.
Pretty much. But
yeah,
it's essentially you start to get into a little bit of the Q Star Trek kind of space with that shit, and I don't think that they're necessarily interested in doing that. So like, that's why I think that the path to immortality, the thing that this is my theory, is I think it's based out of there. That's where the witches got what they got. That's where they learned this power. And so either it's something that allows them to do it, maybe like a wellspring, like the like a fountain of youth kind of thing, and they put the threads in there and tie it around people. Now they come back to life.
During the rectification of the Voltronii, the traveler came as a large and moving Torg. Loth Wolf. During the third reconciliation of the last metric supplicants, those form a new and mighty. I can't remember.
Oh, you really let me down at the end. You were so close. You need to practice that monologue. You need to practice it.
I do. I gotta commit that one. My wife's gonna hate me if I memorize this.
Yeah. So that's why when I just play, Occam's Razor here, I'm like, there's nothing about Mortis. There's nothing about Force Gods. There's nothing about any of that shit. What's the one thing he knows? He knows, he finds out, Homeboy sees the witches. Then Homeboy knows, oh, the old myths are true. And then that's when his plans change. Shin's not informed about it at all. And he's like, Shin, go with them. I still think Shin's like there to be stabby at some point for him. And then he's going to, figure out what that is. Now, the one thing is, I've always been of the, sometimes sources will get a little cute and mislead in ways that they don't mean to, or they mean to, sometimes. And I always go like, maybe they just leave Balin there. Maybe Balin's the person who's left behind. And then we know, oh shit, there's going to be a ramification for that. And that could very well be the case. I mean, I don't think that's what's going to happen, but it could end up like, everybody leaves, they leave Balin behind. Then while we have all of this stuff going on between the Imperial Remnant reformed and that, then, oh, now here comes Balin with something fucking new. But my opinion, just putting in a third force just complicates, and like in a big army, unlimited power. That would just be kind of like
good force.
Yeah. So I kind of don't think they would go that route. But that's just my opinion, Tamara Morrison, hard to know if sources are correct below. They were BSing or they actually had information on Rex. Yeah, this stuff right here, in my opinion, I won't say who, but most of it is BS. You know what I mean? And there are plans for Rex to appear. Christopher Mark, I believe him. I believe he is correct. Rex, I could say with 99% confidence that will be in the show in some capacity, or at least very least his armor will. And that's a guy named Ron
change
Swanson.
The tide of the whole series. Everything will be better for it. It will solve all of Star Wars problems. If Tamura Morrison reappears as some other character who looks like him doing some things, these things, like, I get you all want it. Gives you a nice big chubby. But it's like
Mhm.
the problems, if you have any with any of these series, aren't whether like if Rex was on screen, it ain't solving the Kenobi issue. Rex is on
No.
screen, it doesn't solve Mando not being the focus of Mando season 3.
Okay,
If Rex is
Rob.
on screen, it doesn't
Rob.
solve Rey coming back if you hate that, right? Like
What's like a superhero cartoon that you liked? Like this is probably the best way to explain it. Batman the animated
superhero.
series. Okay, let's just say
Sure.
Batman. So what you have to look at it is like imagine if they were doing a new Batman series on HBO and it was or Max and it's a continuation of the Batman the animated series storylines. All the fans are going to be asking about their favorite characters from the Batman animated series. Are they in the new live action continuation of that story?
The
That's
only
what
character
all
that
of this
has
is.
to be in it is Batman.
No,
Otherwise,
yeah,
it's not a Batman series.
but
Like,
you're still going to
that's
ask.
it.
But you're going to ask, is Harley Quinn in it? Is the are they going to continue Harley Quinn story stuff like that? Joker.
No, I wouldn't.
That's what all of this is, though. You would do
You don't
Batman
need
without Harley
Joker to
Quinn
have
and
a
Joker?
great Batman. I'm being
No, just
honest. Like,
no, that's not no. But if they were going to make the series, you'd be like, who's Batman going to be up against? Is Nightwing going to be in it? Is Robin going to be in it? And that's what all of this stuff comes from. You know what I mean? Luke Skywalker. Now, is Luke Skywalker being in the series going to be better? It doesn't matter. It's not the point. The point is,
that's not true. Rob
Yeah.
said you have Joker doesn't do Joker isn't in Batman Year One.
yeah. And like if
All
Luke
right,
Skywalker,
everyone is look. Most
Yeah.
people say the
Mhm.
best Batman story comes down to the Dark Knight Returns or Batman Year One, and a lot of people fall on Batman Year One. Personally, I think Dark Knight Returns, but there's no Joker in Batman Year One. No Joker.
Okay.
None.
So one thing about Luke Skywalker showing up in these shows now, when people do say he's going to show up, it's because he's already shown up and it's like it's been seen and people know it's like a thing, right? Well, in the reason that Luke Skywalker ends up getting so defended is because there is sort of a fear that the core people will be fired who work around the Luke stuff. And when that happens, a domino effect happens because the people who they brought with them would also probably not be rehired on the shows. So that's why Luke Skywalker gets a little extra armor at times, in case anybody's just a little bit wondering what the vibe is on that. Bo-Katan, she ain't in that shit. Barriss Ophi, yeah, I heard shit about that.
That's Meg.
That's Meg.
Barriss Ophi. I like how it was fun banter you, her, and Santa had the other day. And then she goes, "What about at the end?" Balin turns around and Mace Windu's there. And it was like no one laughed. Everyone was like, ah.
Yeah. I like this one. I don't even remember.
Well.
I don't even remember what this was that now from December 2022. I have a code for a character that I'm reluctant to share at the moment. I don't remember who that was now. I don't know what that was.
2022.
Without like a link.
Year ago?
Without like a link to the thing where I said it or how I said it, I'm like, I don't know what that.
I'm gonna put that show on today and watch it.
Yeah, you should. Tell me who I was
Hold on,
talking about.
Jason, you got another $10 today from Skywalker's Academy.
What?
Again, what you hear is what you have to go on. The sources don't purgle a lot of context unless
Thank
you
you.
ask. That can be skewed by poor perception of
That's
what
what I
they
said.
saw without context of the blurred season.
Thank you.
Right.
Yeah, no, that's the difficult part for me. Like I said, is that
Yeah.
like after a show's out and you have like the lay of the land and then they're talking, that's way easier to be like, oh, here's what this means. It's way more difficult when you don't know anything, when we don't even know who, like some of the stuff I'm figuring out, we don't even know for sure that Thrawn's in it and Lars Mikkelsen is Thrawn yet. It's weird to take it apart that way, So Fett Odu claims to have spoken with a soft goods costume employee. Now, once again, you guys, if you guys ever get anything, don't say this part. You know what I mean? Like, don't. There's only
craft service is table 3.
Yeah. Don't do that. It doesn't. Number one, it doesn't give any more validity to the bullshit you're saying, true or not. So just say it was an employee. Like, you know what? And somebody could get in trouble who's not even. And if you are changing it because you want to protect your source, don't do it like that because now you're getting somebody else in trouble potentially.
They finally got to go to Comic-Con and they got outed by UFET 202.
Yeah. But yeah, but they had all of the costume stuff correct, and that makes sense. That tracks. So it does make sense to me anyways. They are setting up Ahsoka as their primary hero based off of the era. Yeah, that's where they're going with this. Like in the film stuff, I would imagine it would be a big deal, or she could be a big deal. And then there's some like leftover lines from the last part. Wild rumors, real grains of salt stuff. Yang is indeed being voiced by David Tennant again. Well, that was true. You know, that ended up being true. Mary Elizabeth is indeed Hera. Yeah, that one right there. I knew that one for like a super, super long time. And I was like kind of hoping for more on it. And then Bespin got it. And I was just like, yeah, Bespin, it is definitely true. And then Bespin reported that. Like was the first person to report it with any kind of like, you know, fact. But like a lot of Bespin stuff is missing from this. I honestly can't go back through it and figure out what it all was, but this might be a lot of Bespin stuff not in here, you know.
That Joker scene in the Batman's really bad, huh, Jason? I put that on again last night because I love the movie.
Yeah,
but I gotta sit down and edit that scene out. I gotta do it.
Yeah.
I gotta edit that last scene out. I just gotta cut it out. The movie, it's so bad. It's so bad.
Wait, the new region is just a section of the unknown regions right at the edge of the galaxy, far from Sisla and Exegol. Yeah, that stuff. Once again, this is. I know the source who provided. I love this stuff. Like there's this guy on that's on there on that Reddit forum, and he's like saying that my sources were like just at Bad Robot. Like that's why I only got those 2 movies right. And it's just like I got fucking stuff on everything.
But they have a killer snack room, don't they?
And like
they
and
don't
like
skimp on the money at Bad Robot, dude.
but you would now here's the thing is let's just pretend this person did know one of my sources. Once again, I don't have one source. I have lots of sources. That's why I over the years have been consistent. I've always maintained getting new sources and stuff like that. But if this person did know my source, they would never say, "Oh, by the way, I'm making Star Wars source, and now I'm yours." Like it doesn't work that way.
Making Star Wars source.
Yeah. And after you, I'm going to go to Bespin. Everybody's going to get a little my info. You know, it's like
we're going to have a very, very unbirthday.
Yeah, I mean, generally speaking, it's way more fucking rigid than that. Yeah. So. Yeah, they didn't really clarify what they actually meant. They should just told them it was a section of the unknown regions, hence all this confusion. It's like even though
you think they imagine that they sit in a park and it's like that scene from JFK where with what was it? With the Kiefer Sutherland, Donald Sutherland, right? They sit down and he just like tells you all this, and then the more just you gotta re-AI that scene, right? Like
yeah. Well, this was funny.
And the Grisk and the
this was funny. So Ezra calls it the New Beyond. I said that's what sources were calling it. I like totally said that. And I don't know what it's really called. I didn't know it was called Peridia. And then I knew about Nodia.
It feels like the old Beyond because it's the place where everyone came from. The new Beyond is where the Star Wars currently takes place. This is all the shit they abandoned.
Yeah.
And went to a different galaxy because that shit was already burnt out of existence. We haven't gone forward into a new area to have new adventures. They've gone into the past where all this shit that maybe took place during the movie that Mansgold's setting up with took place. And to be perfectly honest with you.
If that first stuff had been correct and it was like just this place on this map out there, like whatever, it would have been like still would have been like a so fucking what thing because it's like it all would have been the same. It's the same concept. It's the same idea. It just has to do with like somebody who opens up a galactic Star Wars that's like actually, and you know that shit could have just been like Leland G going, well, let's just put it here, you know. So it's just like kind of like whatever about that stuff. Even obviously a lot of this shit is just bullshit, but. Like I always laugh at this. There are plans for Callus and Zeb. Whenever you hear there's plans for, no, that's not how this filmmaking works. You don't go, actually, you know, I'm thinking about maybe putting some characters in like episode 8, you know, I'm thinking about it. Like, no, they want to know what are we doing Dave Filoni now? and then they have to budget for it, and they have to plan for it, and it takes years to get one of these shows like fucking
Which
moving.
stupid grin do you want Jason to have on the show? Not you, the other stupid Jason. Do you want him to have this stupid grin or that stupid grin? That's the decisions director's got to make.
Yeah.
Plans.
Yeah.
That's a problem with people sitting in the room writing fan fiction. You can make all the plans you want, but actually making things production ready and getting shit done on time is a whole different ball game.
Right. Okay, wait, look at this wild rumor. Episode 5 is about Ahsoka internal force vision with Anakin. She is pulled from the water by Hera at the end of the episode, ending the vision. However, it's not Hera. They're really sticklers about the pulled out thing. Now, it was funny because I knew about the diver that was used, and I knew that Brendan Wayne like pulled her out. And they're like, they do give it to me in this, I heard. But they're like, oh, I'm actually the diver, the rebel pilot, and then it's him who pulls her onto the ghost, and it's like, okay. I mean, I'm really
Who
like,
gives a shit, dude? Like,
yeah. To be clear, like the way I do shit, I would never be that anal about that like bit of information because it's not about
episode 5 is all about Ahsoka internally force vision with Anakin. That's the big fucking bit. Who pulls her out the fucking water is ridiculous. Like it doesn't matter one bit who pulls her. Hera was flying the ship, so you could technically say she did pull her out. Who was flying the ship?
Well, I mean, no, like, and they do give it to him
at the end of the episode, ending the vision. Yeah, that's what happened.
Right. And this person says they do like, so this person has like the shit right. They use the Purgle to transport themselves to Peridia. You know what I mean? The final episodes are all set in Peridia. We don't of episode 6. Okay, but they are all set in Peridia. So it's like, once again, this is kind of splitting hairs a little bit on that person. I don't think they got a fair shake.
The final thing with Thrawn, you could take that scene and insert it into any of the episodes before it, and it would have played exactly the same. We don't know in the editing bay if at the time it wasn't episode 6, maybe it gets moved to 5. You can move it around at the end of episode 1. I guarantee you can take these individual scenes and move them around, and they'll probably place just as well as anything else. It's not right. Star Wars is. It's how do I say this? Like Amy Hennig, I told you, it really pays to go listen to the interview she did with the AI GW, whatever the games. It's a podcast for the games. It's a Tom Price, Tim Price or Tom Price, the guy who runs Insomniac, did an interview with her back in 2017 when she left the game you broke. What was that game?
Ragtag?
The game. Yeah, when she left Ragtag, right? When it was canceled, she immediately did an interview on that one, and she was just discussing about like the difficulties in writing for something like Indiana Jones, which is what she was homaging when she created Uncharted, right? And writing for Star Wars, and Star Wars is like, well, you see the good guys and the bad guys. You have, and in Indiana Jones, you're just with Indiana Jones the whole time. You don't generally just hang out with the bad guys, although the last Indiana Jones movies proves that wrong. Maybe Mansgold should have spoke to Amy Hennig before writing that script. So because you spend time with the good guys and bad guys, you can move the bad guy scenes around almost any way you want, and it kind of doesn't really matter. That's why I suspect, and I've never thought about it until now, this is why maybe fans who are way too into this obsess over timelines, because they're trying to make sense out of like just creative on the fly editing decisions. You really should be spending more time reading Paul Hirsch's book than reading the timeline of Star Wars. You want to know how a Star Wars movie gets crafted? It's not by constructing timelines. It's by enhancing the emotion and the energy of a scene where it needs to, speeding it up and slowing it down, and not worrying about, well, if it was 5 minutes before this scene, then that character couldn't have walked into there. Like that's YouTube.
Yeah, but Rob,
nonsense.
That doesn't make you money on YouTube. You have to say it was a bait and switch.
I'd say that's YouTube nonsense.
Yeah.
I guess I foresaw where you were going.
Yeah, I don't remember this. A wild rumor: Amanda helmet was spotted on one of the filming locations, train yard shooting location. It looked to be Sabine's helmet, but more yellow than the usual purple. User in Making Star Wars Live, he did not confirm or deny. Yeah, if I probably knew Sabine was in it, but was like, I don't know about it.
Look at the lights in the scene in her room, though. They're orange lights. So, and all the lights on the outside.
This is the best one to ever be included. It sounds like Ahsoka had it made in the shade versus the other productions. It's true.
I believe
it was true though. That's what everybody was saying. Like nobody wanted to go to Skeleton Crew specifically, and Mando was not
Honshu
good.
66 sends you Canadian dollars, Jason. 10 Canadian smackaroonies. He says,
I'm mounting
Jason
up.
and Bespin do amazing work. Too bad Ahsoka wasn't as good as the work you guys do.
Hey,
Thanks,
for
Khonshu.
10 Canadian bucks, I'll
Yeah.
respect your opinion.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
no, yeah. Khonshu hasn't enjoyed Ahsoka so much. That's fair.
I
to
don't
say,
blame him. I don't
you
blame
know.
him. I could see how it could fall right in the middle for most people. you know?
Yeah. According to Kion155, making Star Wars mentioned on one of his streams, when he was told the backstory, Rey Stevens' character Balon is going to be partially explained in the show, but a lot of it would be left in a novel. No, that right there, I would never say that. Actually, that last part, but the person may have misinterpreted us going like, yeah, maybe they'll put a bunch of that shit in a book. You know, eventually.
That sounds like something I would add on, and then
Yeah,
they attribute it to you. I wonder how many things I say get attributed to you now. I like this.
Yeah, I would never.
Kathleen Kennedy fights in blood sport matches in Thailand on her off time.
Yeah,
Jason.
if I had that, they were going to do something like that. That would be a big story unto itself. I would put out like they're not doing it on screen; they're doing it in a book.
She rolls her knuckles in the glass and fights the other. She fights James Gunn. She's taking on Zaslav, right?
Right. This series has more lightsaber fighting than probably anything we've seen on Disney Plus so far.
That's true.
And the word is the lightsaber fighting is pretty good, and then so that's correct. I mean, yeah, it's better, definitely better. All right.
Rob, are you still doing the Filoni message for whoever the first Spotify member? Did we get a Spotify member?
I don't know. I don't think so. I have not been alerted to having a Spotify member yet.
Yes. Of course, you could have
just
for $5, you could have just been the first Spotify member and mentioned. Yeah, I'll do a Filoni message.
That's true.
I don't get any of this money. I'm just trying to help Jason. Someone said, "Oh no, was it Dale Star Wars?
Dale
that
Erdman?
dude? Yeah, Dale. Someone in the comments was like, I don't really think Rob's much of a grifter." I'm like, grifter? I pay to be on the show. That's just a $5 a month I pay. Like,
yeah,
I gotta be working when I'm on the show. You know what I'm saying? Like I work, man. Like I'm not just sitting at home waiting to go on the fucking podcast all day. I don't think you understand what the word. Even you go, no, Rob. I meant that you're not. I don't think I can't be even in the realm of a grifter. That's not how grifting works. You know?
Grifting requires profits for you.
Yes, and for me to tell you what you want to hear.
You do the show at
a loss.
Tell
anybody what they want to hear.
Yo, you won't even shut the fuck up sometimes when I'm like, let me tell them what they want to hear. You're like, no, I'm gonna tell them what they don't want to hear.
Yeah.
So no, I mean,
Look,
it's just true. You are the antithesis of a grifter.
Since we started the show, YouTube counts any comment as engagement. And I've gotten us a lot of engagement.
Oh, are we engaged?
Oh no.
Oh no.
I don't like the small balls. Yeah.
Okay, so like this one is a weird one. Ahsoka might be out later, hinted at my article today. Ahsoka will likely release after Marvel's Secret Invasion in May and Loki season 2, which will release later in the summer. So here's the thing: is this, you got an incorrect. Now I gotta be honest with you guys on that one. Fuck, I'm not gonna say anything specifically because that's Bespin business, not Jason business. But I know a little of the Bespin business, and what I know of it is if you knew the sources that Bespin had secured at Disney Plus for this shit, you would be like, oh yeah, it's definitely fucking on. And
it did come out after Secret Invasion, and Loki 2 just got moved because of the strike.
Everything, but this is what sucks is like I did that story about how there was the Disney people were like, let's make it into a movie, right? Like that was a plan that was a solution that they were going to press Lucasfilm to like do, and fucking real, right on. It's true. I stand by that to the fucking death. That said, it's then used against me because the strike's over now. They won't need to do it. I never said that they would do it. I'm like, that's a plan.
But there were
what
plans for
that's a
Zev and
plan.
Ahsoka, but no plans for future
Plan,
movies,
yeah.
right?
Yeah, no, or
Yeah,
you know what I
their
mean?
plans consistency is
A
lacking,
plan,
Jason.
a suggestion, whatever you want to
Yeah.
call it, a corporate
Yeah,
suggestion, which
contingency.
is contingency. And it's like right here we have like so when he said this is 100% true when he said it.
Yeah,
Like
February 21st.
that's like saying a cut scene, something gets cut, and that means you were incorrect. Well, so on that one right there, I just don't
Yeah, but
really think that's a fair one against him.
this was like right before or right when did the allegations come out against the Kang actor? What's his face?
Yeah, I
The
don't.
guy
That was a
playing
while
Kang.
ago now.
But I
Yeah,
bring it up because that shifted Loki season 2 as well.
yeah.
Like a lot of that stuff put all that stuff into flux, like
Let's put it this way. Bestman Bulletin could be a Marvel leaker if he wanted to.
yeah,
He just doesn't want to. At least not yet.
they
So
make more money.
they do. My friend Jeremy was like in Star Wars stuff, and then he went over and he started doing Marvel. Like when we started, I had like 20,000 Twitter followers, and he had 4,000 when he started his Marvel thing. He has like 100,000 today. Marvel thing is way more lucrative.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
No, I wish I liked it. I wish I liked it. I'll never fake it, but if I liked it, that's what I would do. Because just I mean, if I could even fake liking it, I would do it, but I don't.
Quentin Rothman just became our first member on Spotify.
Uh-oh.
Filoni will send the message to Jason, and Jason will have to send it to Quentin. That's how that'll work.
Thank you, Quentin, for being my first Spotify member. That's pretty rad. Yeah, the Spotify thing, by the way, I like it. I think it's a good service, honestly. I know a lot of people like the ecosystem on YouTube, so that's cool. But in terms of if you're not, if you have no allegiance to anything, the Spotify video and the ability to switch between it being a podcast and a video show just as you want, I think that for this show is very good because we do a long show. Like realistically, the show should be like 10 minutes. I should just do like Star Wars Make style videos about my news and the news and what I think. I would make more money. But we end up doing this like 2-hour show oftentimes. And doing that. But Spotify's a better way to use that content, I think, personally.
It'd keep me out the show too. There's no way you could have me on for 10 minutes.
10 minutes. Oh no. You just did 10 minutes being doing a Ghostbusters monologue. So we have our directors.
I got so close, Jason. So close.
Dave Filoni from Bespin is 2 episodes. Steph Green from her Instagram, now removed from her bio. Remember that. Peter Ramsey from The Hollywood Reporter. Jita Vasant Patel from me. I remember that. And then, these are official ones. Cool. And Bryce Dallas Howard from Discussing Films, which was incorrect. So, first assistant directors. That's all from Production Weekly stuff. Score by Kevin Kiner, some Celebration. Yeah, it's kind of weird to put like the official stuff in there, in my opinion. It's like not really a leak. It's a an announcement, I guess. But that's just my opinion.
I like how they put the official one above you, even though you put it out like in December. Episode
the dates at least there though, but 8 episodes. I knew the directors, a lot of the directors. I just didn't entirely want to jump into that place, especially because it gets a little muddy. Like people think, like for instance, I'm not saying this is just an example. Jita might have directed a scene from the first episode because it made financial sense, or they know that they needed it later and they just throw it on there. That kind of stuff happens. So, but if not knowing that correctly, I could say Jita's on 2 episodes, but she's only on 1. So that's why I'm kind of like, it's a weird game on that one.
Yeah, DGA gets final, like, the DGA credits according to the percentage and everything.
Yeah, I think it's like 30% or something of being a writer for credit on the WGA, but on the director stuff, I'm not sure what the percentage is.
Otherwise, Spielberg should be co-directing Poltergeist.
Yeah. Series working title is Storm Crow, and that's correct from Bestman Bulletin. Yeah. And what's this one? Wild rumor. According to Making Star Wars in a recent stream, Ahsoka will have a bigger budget than the previous Mando shows. Yeah, that one I know I never would have said. Or if I did, I was like, because because the truth is I knew it wasn't as much as Skeleton Crew, but I knew that Skeleton Crew had the biggest budget. So
Yeah, if you said anything, you would say that the money being spent on Mando and Ahsoka is definitely more than Kenobi.
Oh yeah.
And you
Well,
would have,
see,
it would have been more like it would have been more like in a sarcastic.
What I would have said is Obi-Wan Kenobi cost the same because it was made in shorter time, so it's more expensive.
There you go. There
yeah.
You go.
Dave Filoni, as director and a manager, Dave Filoni instructed his design team when conceptualizing locations, characters, and objects, making them de-exaggerated versions of what they might look like in animation. Yes, that is true. Ahsoka show is moving forward. The plan is to shoot at the end of 2022. What is this one? Huckleberry Industries for Ahsoka. Yeah. Bestman said they had 2 sources telling them early spring and another day. Yeah. So all that stuff, like when we're getting into it, it's like you have people on crews and people in productions are being told like, here's what you're going to be doing then. So when we say that, it's true. Doesn't mean that's when they ended up doing it. I mean, Lucasfilm can't even get stuff off the ground half the time, you know? It's like fucking fucked up. All right. What did Bestman say? According to Production Weekly, Ahsoka is scheduled to begin filming in April. Over the past few weeks, I have been hearing from multiple sources that Ahsoka is scheduled to film in April. The series was initially set to film in late March, but plans changed when more weeks were added to the production of The Mandalorian Season 3. Exclusively, I can reveal that currently The Mandalorian Season 3 is scheduled to wrap later in March, with Ahsoka looking to start around 4 weeks later, placing in late April. But I was told even that isn't set in stone and could go into early May, depending on Mando. But right now, yeah, I remember when this was happening, and that's when he's also said Stormcrow. I remember when that was going down, and all of that, everything he was saying there was exactly true, 100% true, and that's what was going on. I remember, I think Star Wars Newsnet came out and tried to debunk Bespin with it, and it was just complete fucking bullshit. It was some try hard fucking idiot stuff. Ahsoka is going to start filming for Disney Plus on May 9th in Los Angeles. Yeah, that was correct in the end. Shooting locations: Manhattan Beach, El Segundo Train Yard location. Yeah, that's true. Obviously. August set number 3. The starting blue screen is still on the lot, but has been moved to the back. Well, this is a weird one. Yeah, I mean, that stuff's all. I mean, we had pictures. That's another thing I like when that one guy tries to talk shit on me about Mando. Say I didn't have anything on Mando, and it's like I was on the fucking set, on that one right there, on the train yard one. I literally brought back pictures. You know, I showed Ezra's house. I didn't know it was Ezra's house, but I got the pictures of Ezra's house as well and the foot. So. Soundtrack release. Okay, yeah, got a little cast. Yeah, the casting stuff is all bullshit. Who cares? I don't like doing casting stuff personally. It's just not my thing. I don't like it,
Yeah.
At this moment, I have positive hits on Ivana Sakno being a light sister, than playing Hera Syndulla. Yeah, that was me going because I knew she was doing fucking the Force and stuff. And I'm like, so that's not Hera, That's what I was saying there. December 23rd, a new character is named Shin. There we go. See?
But you didn't get anything right, Jason. What do you know?
I know, right? It's like when you, I know, so the guy tried to say I didn't have anything on Rogue One. I'm like, I told you who Cassian Andor and Jyn Erso are. Not only who they are, but what their names are. That's something where you're like, oh yeah, they're a Force user, a person of color, and they have a lot of emotional growing to do. Yeah, of course. Okay, cool.
There's lots of plans for those characters in future novels and or series.
Yeah, right. It's if you say but if you say the fucking name, it's okay, shut down. Don't fuck with me.
It takes place exactly 3 years before A New Hope, but ends 5 minutes before A New Hope.
Yeah,
or a couple weeks before, maybe a day.
Yeah. I wonder if they have Thrawn bring a little bit of a chunky monkey in this one. Because remember that we're talking about do we think he fights? I'm like, yeah, we heard he's a little robust. He's in a couple of those Hungry Man TV dinners, But yeah, he's not going to be a physical, is a physical presence, but he's not gonna be doing physical stuff like jumping over, jumping into stacks of sandbags to avoid lasers and stuff.
He's gone full Elon
Oh,
Musk.
here it is.
Remember Elon
March
on the
10th.
boat? He looks like Elon on the boat.
Thrawn lying about playing Thrawn is such a Thrawn move. Making Star Wars on Twitter. That was just me being
That
like,
should be on the DVD. That should be on the DVD.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, Amon, it's funny being asked about Ezra in an interview. What did he say? I don't actually have any confirmation about it, and there's not really much more for me to do towards it. But I love how many people are stoked for me to play that. That would be so cool. And I appreciate people putting the pictures. We'll just kind of see what happens, but I appreciate that. Yeah, that was a good way of putting it, I think, by the actor.
Do some squats.
As opposed to just saying, I'm not in it, Yeah, Mon Mothma, Genevieve O'Reilly. And like I said before, I don't know if it makes it into this document, but Genevieve O'Reilly's scene for Mando 3 was either the same scene as that we got in Ahsoka, or was ruled redundant and cut from Mando. So that's why she ends up in Ahsoka, not in both shows, because it was essentially the same moment, of her picking up, that kind of
Look,
shit.
man, she's doing a lot with what she's given, but her written by Tony Gilroy is what I'm up for.
Oh, sure.
That's the Mon Mothma I want to hang out with.
Right. Yeah, and this is one of the things too, not to pick on anybody, but like Kessel Run transmissions. Mina Musad is the favorite in talks to play Ezra. Now, was he ever in talks? That could be true. He could have, like what they said, he could have been the favorite, and he could have been in talks. That could be fucking true. But they were also the ones that said that like Cara Dune was the main character in Rangers of the New Republic, and that wasn't true. And that's what the grifters have now latched on to make
every time I hear someone say something about someone's the current favorite, it reminds me of the mechanical horse race in the movie Popeye.
Yeah.
Right? Where like like fans see these actors like in a mechanical horse race, and they're all like betting on which one's going to be their favorite. Like it's not how it works.
Yeah, this one right here, I put it out like as a okay, here's what I could hear on this video, because you know that like scene where Ezra has the armor on, his little Rebels costume from the hologram. So I saw the actor in that stuff, and they're talking to him, and it, from the cell phone video that I heard, it sounded like they were saying Yvonne, Yuvan, and it's Amon. You know what I mean? It's like, and so we were going through and we were like trying to like place him with the actor and the ethnicity. So that's why that article, I'm not like, this is the actor. I'm like, is this the actor? Is this him? And then I was hoping that would in turn draw out for me the actual like true answer. And I'm always cool with getting a little bit of egg on my face to pull the truth out. And so that was one where it was like, well, everyone's afraid to talk about this right now. Let's see what we can do. But yeah, you can see where my heart was in the right place on that one, I think. So I stand by that one being incorrect, but also you see where I was coming from. Oh yeah, this was funny. The sewing circles are all saying Matt Smith is Thrawn. I heard it so many times this week. Haha. Yeah, that's the same people that feed in the fake shit to each other, then use each other to confirm it. Right? Oh, I heard it too. And that's where like with Bespin, I'm super cognizant of that. That's why like he is too, of like when we confirm each other's shit, we don't want our little sewing circle to start becoming self-perpetuating with confirmations. You know what I mean? But that's what they do. Those people are all assholes and they're always wrong. It's pretty funny. Lars Mikkelsen is a live action Thrawn. Oh, cool. Yeah, way to take a stance. What else we got here?
Big guess. Giant swing. You know what I mean? Just went way out on the limb with that one.
Yeah. I was and because of that shit, I was really I mean, that's why I saw him. Because it became a thing where eventually people were just making shit up, and I was like, you know what though? I can't believe it until I see it. I just won't. You know what I mean? And so somebody was
the
like,
only time I get excited for casting is when they do something big, like a Batman, maybe the new X-Men, But when you tell me who's going to play the Punisher, sometimes it's Ray Stevenson and sometimes it's John Barenthal. It doesn't matter to me. You know what I mean? Just get someone good. I don't.
Here,
I don't.
here is
not
the
changing the world.
person, this cryptic 4K quality person, a cryptic. I think they have a different name too on Twitter. Maybe okay, maybe that is it right there. But the episode lengths, that cryptic person is the guy who gets the runtimes usually totally fucking right. And so see, I haven't seen this Diamond Fire TV person in all of this stuff, so they appear to have a lot of stuff correct. Maybe it's the same person. I don't even know. But yeah,
They
but
all
like
sound like some weird thing you'd see on a box from a Chinese knockoff home retro console.
Yeah.
Right now with Diamond Fire TV or Cryptic 4K Q quality.
DVD Explosion Extreme 69.
Yeah, 8K,
Like, okay.
8K, 8K,
Yeah.
8K, 8K, 8K.
No, 8K Blu-ray diversion. You're like, what?
8K's on my PS5 box. Like, what are they smoking over there at Sony? 8K what? Like,
Yeah. Yeah, and so like that was the other thing is people are like, is anything Making Star Wars going to say true? But I was like, the first part of the show is dealing with Sabine's story issues, and
you're
the
all
new
douche holes.
Republic. Well,
I just
so
said a true thing. Like,
yeah, but that was the whole thing though. It was like all of that was just like, yeah, people being like, yeah, it's like emo shit, and like, you know, was she a Jedi? We couldn't tell. I never even moved forward with that stuff because it was so ambiguous, and even at this state in the show, I still think it's ambiguous. So no regrets there on that one, you know.
I think it's getting more ambiguous as the series goes on, which is why I'm getting annoyed with it. You know, it's like I'm not like what I'll say this, regardless of what I think about every episode on Ahsoka, I'll give it this: its tone is consistent throughout.
Yeah,
and this is what I'll put it over. You know, there's just wild tone inconsistencies on Book of Boba Fett and Mando season 3.
right.
You know what I mean? Like, just, I mean, Kenobi's tone was pretty consistent. I just didn't like it, but so that's subjective. But you can't go from like, I'm in the minds of Mandalore with this blood-sucking robot and dragons to Jack Black and Lizzo are doing comedy and sticky aristocracies. You know, you're just like, what is this shit? You know, or so it's just this series has a consistent tone.
Yeah.
You know, I just hope it actually says things when it gets nebulous and we get into that, well, it depends on a certain point of view shit. I just that's a bad place to go, man. Like it's like learn from Star Wars, don't repeat the mistakes. Like
yeah, I remember this. Other details from Making Star Wars. He says that Harrison Dilla will feature in the series and that the ghost has been constructed for it. And yeah, so that was like I feel like that scoop was underappreciated when I put it out. You know what I mean? But when I was talking about like the ghost,
hey, so you put out the entire Kenobi series. I think no one caught on to that. Like how? I mean, talk about the most underappreciated. You put out the entire.
They just stole my information, Rob. They just steal it and then treat me like shit on their YouTube shows. You know, usually
even like the the bigger streamers, man, would be like, well, rumors say. I'm like, no, this guy's been getting this shit correct for as long as I can remember. And I remember pretty far back, dude. So like, just say who got it right. Stop with, you know, internet YouTubers. Jason's not internet YouTuber.
Star Wars Meg, though, always gave me my credit. So thank you, Meg. Love you.
Yeah, thanks, Meg.
Our bad guys.
Thanks, Meg. Thank you.
Okay, so this is a weird one. The name Balin has been mentioned in relation to Grand Admiral Thrawn. Why would you cross that out? I still stand by that. Like when I see the motherfucker like working for Thrawn on a day when they're filming it, why would that be crossed out as wrong?
Yeah. Thrawn tells him what to do. He doesn't.
They're all in relation, yes, but Emerson has now corrected himself. It said that Balin and Shin work for Morgan Elsbeth to find Thrawn. Yeah, but it's like, and then that's her boss. So you know what I mean? Like, okay, but they still thought it's correct.
Darth Vader is the Dark Lord of the Sith. There's no other Sith. There's only one. Of who? Right. Of what? If you're a Sith, I'm the Dark Lord of Sketchcrafts. Like, it's like,
So I'm I believe this character is played by Ray Stevenson. He's very important to the series and has a lot of screen time. This character answers to Thrawn. He does answer to Thrawn.
He does.
That is. He like literally Thrawn literally tells him to go out and like hunt those people now and stuff. Like that's correct. They say it's correct, but it's weird to cross it out because Balin wears dark armor, has some samurai aesthetics that seem to permeate through the series designs. is a lightsaber like Kylo's described as a red claymore lightsaber. See that right there? Yeah, it's true. It's heavier than he swings with immense power. Supposedly, you can feel the weight of the weapon when he strikes it on screen. Incorrect on the saber color. I don't remember what I said. I don't have the saber color thing in this quote. Oh, red claymore.
Red claymore.
Oh, come
It is
on.
red.
Are you? I mean, guys, it's not a real lightsaber. So when they do the thing and it shines on the thing, people said it was red. Like that's. Okay.
It looks red in some scenes. Look,
they still
color's
said it was
subjective.
correct. Yeah, I know.
People, look,
but
man,
like,
this is where you go,
Yeah.
okay, put green next to blue and put the same green next to a yellow, and you're going to see the color. It's relative. Like that's
Yeah.
basic color. So in these scenes to
Yeah,
scene,
orange or
sometimes the
red.
shit is orange. Sometimes it looks 100% red. It's meant to be ambiguous in a way. Like it's got an orange core, you know, with the redder tip.
The comedy of it, dude, is that it's based off of the poster for A New Hope from the person who saw Darth Vader's red lightsaber and made it orange, but interpreted the hilt how they wanted to. And that's where it comes about. So it's like, okay, but they gave it to me correct. Okay. You know what I mean? But once again, if something's orange or red, unless the source really comes out and says the difference, I would always just assume, yeah, they're right. It's red, you know, because it's like a light up fucking toy sword.
Plus, not for nothing, the fighting build styles, I assume at this point, play a large part into the build of the actor.
Yeah.
And Ray Stevenson is a very large dude. I've described him as being like David Prowse big, but with the acting chops of Liam Neeson, right? Like, so if he was trying to do like the rapier fencing thing, it just wouldn't look right with his build.
No, it wasn't him. It was Shin's the one who has more of that. Like he has the
he's the heavier
broadsword, the red.
It's what I'm saying. You want him to swing it heavier because look how big the dude is. If he was like, I'm just saying, man, like if it's just it can look weird sometimes, or it would look exactly like Darth Vader, since Vader does a little bit of the fencing in Empire, doesn't really stick with it, you know, like. But yeah, whatever.
Yeah, several sources have confirmed to me that Ivana Sakno is playing a new character named Shin. Shin is an apprentice to Baylan, a Force user who has embraced the dark side. She is cold, calculated, and desperate to prove herself to her Jedi master. Shin also has armor and a red lightsaber, and then they're all except for the color again. But it's like, yeah.
Here's what I would like to see happen. Let's take the date that you got something correct, and let's go put on the date of what some other stupid shows are saying that day. You know what I mean? Let's show you what everyone else was saying that day, because it's like. The other rumors are like, and I hear that Luke Skywalker's the order's gonna come back, and then that's where they're gonna like, you know, like it's all that stupid type of rumor. I don't even watch the show, so I couldn't tell you what they're fantasizing about. But every now and then someone comes in our stream with their nonsense, and I'm like, they said what? Like that's stupid fan casting, you know?
Yeah. All right.
What's theories and nerds and all these other dill holes saying on December 23rd, 2022?
You're right.
You know?
Several sources have confirmed to me that Ivana Sakno is playing. Oh, I already read that one, right? Yeah. One of the first things MSW heard about Shin was that she's basically the new Ventress. Yeah, still true. Sources have also implied a story in which a survivor of Order 66, a Jedi named Baylan, fled to the unknown regions of the galaxy for safety. Sources think Baylan wanted to maintain the Jedi way, but was corrupted over time, maybe from the influence of life with the Night Sisters. And that one's like, yeah, you know what I mean? Like that's kind of like what they were hearing, and like most of that like is what the backstory is, but it's a little different now. We don't know if Shin is a former Night Sister though. She's definitely not a Night Sister. We just didn't know where the line was between like between the witches and them. That scene wasn't filmed yet. Sometime around Return of the Jedi, before the series takes place, Baylan takes Shin on as apprentice. Somehow Baylan and Thrawn become allied, and Shin is tasked to hunt and kill Ahsoka Tano. These characters are a mystery to Ahsoka at first, and she will learn about them as the episodes unfold. So
every time you say witches, I hear JB Smoove from Spider-Man Home, Far From Home. Witches.
Yeah, witches. Yeah, and then one source describes Shin's lightsaber as a needle and the sword like sword from Game of Thrones. Together, Baylan and Shin are very taxing to your standard laser sword fighter. By the way, I always say laser sword to make those anal people really annoyed. It's actually a lightsaber, so I love using
not according to Lucas.
not
laser swords in episode 1. It's literally in the movie, you fucking idiots.
Right.
You know.
So March, I said the sources say that Morgan Elsbeth is actually a Night Sister. is in all of Ahsoka, and that she is actively searching for Thrawn, a parallel for Ahsoka and Sabine's search for Ezra. While on Corvus, she was extracting resources from the planet. Yeah, so that I thought Corvus with that other world. What's the other world called? I thought that was Corvus because they use the same trees and stuff. They use the same like set stuff on location. Once there was a large ship was building, and the others mentioned that she's building TIE fighters and such. So yeah, both of this is actually true. She is building TIE fighters and stuff. That's like the shipyard that she has on Corvus was for that stuff. And we're going to see that will play out later. You'll see. I don't know about in the series, but you will see that will be the case. Their first source was correct, though we don't know much about the Corvus sites for sure. The second source's info has yet to be confirmed. Okay, yeah, that one I think will come out. Making sense. I heard a woman assumed to be Ahsoka wanted to be let in. Yeah, this is what I have the photos of. So that's something that you need to actually like include in this. I have the photo. This is actually the Lothal Communications Tower, Sabine's home. Though we do not have any pictures saying "let me in," it seems like the MSCB caught the fight between Shin and Sabine. Yeah, that's definitely what that was. And there was like different like shouting and screaming and stuff. They might have been trying stuff for all I know. Might have been a point where she ran inside before the fight and then said "let me in," and then they come out and fight again. I don't know, but I couldn't see it all, so that was just a thing. Mon Mothma will appear in Ahsoka. The rumor is that the first part of the show has New Republic centric content, and that Mon Mothma appears there. The problem is the Night Sister Morgan Elsbeth's nefarious plan is well underway, and it seems like the New Republic cannot respond as the series tries to contend with governing a galaxy where piracy is out of control. And correct, we do not know the reason. We do not know that the reason is piracy. Yeah, that pirate stuff is either going to be subtext or is going to play more into things. But that's what you saw it come out in Mando season 3, and you're going to see it come into Skeleton Crew.
Can't wait.
Yeah, the third episode. Remember,
so
Rob,
Salad
don't go at Skeleton Crew expecting fucking Andor. Remember, it's the Goonies. Salad the Hutt.
No, I'm expecting Mando season 3, which is what's really disheartening.
Yeah, no. But yeah,
yes.
Those pirates are the same pirates. They were at one point. We thought that the pirates were going to be in the Ahsoka series as well, but obviously that we never got anything more on that, and it didn't come out. So
I want the kind of pirates that would appear in Empire Strikes Back, not in Endor the movie. All right, that's what I'm asking for, Jason. I don't think it's too hard to ask.
Yeah.
Like I'm not expecting Andor. I'm expecting like Star Wars, Empire Strikes Back, and let's say the military tone of Return of the Jedi. How about that? Like that's fair enough.
Right?
It's ridiculous. Not, how you doing, Mando? I'm a spice pirate. Let's go and get the, you know what I mean? Like, come on. Like, what are we doing?
Yeah.
I like a dumb puppet more than anyone else, man. But like, no wind. Whatever.
So on a late one, I go on to say, Ahsoka goes into the World Between Worlds in a dream sequence, which is correct. She sees Anakin, which is correct. We see flashes of the past battles and important parts of for Ahsoka, which is correct. The Siege of Mandalore is the last flash, correct. And once again, the Siege of Mandalore, the Mandalore and Teth were Bespin Bulletin, though.
Not for nothing, though. Having rewatched that episode 3 times now, with normies and myself.
Yeah.
Other than her saying it is, the color grading of the entire thing could have well just been Clone Wars. Like no one really outside can tell that that's a different thing altogether.
They weren't. The sets weren't prominent enough. What kind of sucks about that is that that stuff could have come out like a lot better. You could tell it was just like there was no budget for it in it. Yeah. And then so they just went with like a fog of war thing, and then it being a dream sequence. I'm able to just go like, okay, I'm able to like let it go. But would it have been great? Could it have been grander? Fuck yeah, dude. You know what I mean? Like a lot.
Would have been great if it was somehow tied into the scene in Boba Fett where we saw them Terminator Mandalore. That's my favorite. Right. Love that scene.
Making Star Wars. Technically, it was the female pilot, but Brendan's character pulled her onto the Ghost. Yeah, like I said, when I'm talking about, it's him pulling her out of the water. That's what I said.
People really care about this pulling out of the water thing. I know she would be in water in the first place. You know what I mean? Who even
Yeah.
like
Yeah, and this one right here, I don't think there's going to be a right answer to it. I think this is confirmed to me now. Ahsoka is in
who
her own
pulled the little kid out the well in the 80s, Jason? Remember that? Remember that chick who got stuck in the well
She's
when
still
we were
there, dude.
kids? Right? They made a whole Simpsons episode about it. Like that's how big that dumb incident was.
Pretty sure it was John Wayne's corpse.
But who pulled the kid out the well? That's what matters.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Otherwise, it didn't happen.
I'm thinking of that Borat song about whales. All right, Ahsoka is on her is in her own head, in her own memories of Anakin. It's a very personal, metaphysical moment for her. That's not really the real between the worlds. Not really Anakin, but is it? Your interpretation, and I still stand by that. Economics, legal sense. I think it's really Anakin communicating through the Force. It can definitely be interpreted as a dream, but Anakin talks right away. I feel is pretty real, and I also agree with that.
The Karnov effect,
and
right? Remember the
cool
game Karnov, where you
look
at the game Karnov and you can see whatever game you want to see.
The Karnov effect is where you take your shirt off and you think you look good, but you're really fat.
That's the Contra effect. That's where guys think they look like the Contra guys, but they really look like Mealtine 6. Yeah.
But yeah, and like once again, like I wouldn't like if economics legal was like firmly like this is what it'd be like, yeah. But my take on the whole thing is in the narrative, we're both right. It is ambiguous in this part. But when we see Anakin's ghost at the end, that's why I think that's sort of like the wink wink, you know. The land of Oz is real. You know what I mean? Kind of thing. You know what I mean? Like you did go on that adventure. It wasn't just a dream, you know? So, and one thing about the episodes, like I knew all of the episode titles and stuff like during production, right? So far, only one of them has changed. I could think of anyways. 2 maybe have changed. And like, so, and like there's a lot of fairy tale stuff in it, let's put it that way. What Ahsoka learns remains the same. Had Ahsoka stayed in Jedi Order, she would have gone through a lot more hell. But yeah, that one kind of does change a little bit. It's true.
Yeah, and it would have been better had they actually just shown the second half of the dream.
Yeah,
Siege of Mandalore shit's pointless to me. I just think the second half is like, at least when she goes to fight Anakin the second time, is like you should go into what if you saw her past. Then you go into what could have been had she not abandoned. That's her core issue is her and the split there and her abandoning Sabine and in a way she feeling like she abandoned Anakin. Definitively deal with that there. Like that's the place to do it. And then they just don't.
Yeah. I have a theory on what ended up going on there is I think when you put that onto the table, and then you have that character dealing with it, I think you end up needing a scene on the back end of the show at the very end where Ahsoka and Anakin have a conversation, like where they actually speak with the ghost. Just my opinion is they would want to save that for Luke Skywalker eventually. They're very, very aware of like not wanting to deflate potential, like the potential of using characters doing certain things. So like that's why we probably, for instance, won't see Anakin Force Ghost fight something, you know what I mean? Balin's ghost or something, you know what I mean?
Because ass in me wants to say, well, that's why you'll never see a real good movie because we want the potential for one later on down the road.
Yeah.
We'll just get your half-assed efforts from here on out until we really feel like making something of substance, you know?
Right. No, it's true. I go both ways on that line of thinking. It's like, yeah, a lot of times it's true, and sometimes it's like, no, we needed it here, and you should have done it. When the story asked for it, you know. But that's what I think, you know. But at the same time, it might have just been them. Like my sources might have just misinterpreted what they were seeing because there's like fire and stuff in the scenes and everything, and you see Revenge of the Sith Anakin. You know what I mean? So it's like I kind of see why they got that stuff. I'm not mad at them for it, you know. Ahsoka will see glimpses of herself and other times, and there's a version of late teens, and then that's what I was saying, where we, you know, we have those different the 2 different eras of Ahsoka. So Ahsoka is in her white robes, and several others, okay. Ahsoka has different production code names for different eras of the story. Different actresses will be playing her for those moments. Oh, that's what I was talking about with the codes. Remember earlier on, I'm like, I don't remember. I said like I have a code for a character, but I don't want to talk about it right now. That's what that was. It was the young Ahsoka characters and the different ones. So yeah. And then Anakin is a Force ghost, not a god. And as a ghost, they can do a lot of stuff. They can manipulate their environment. They can teach. They can do memory. What is this? Oh, okay. I don't even know who this is. Like, what that's from. I was like, what the fuck? All right. Yeah. So the flashbacks are Ahsoka's point of view, not Anakin's. Well, I mean, that's kind of a given, I think. I'm just going to throw that one in there a little bit. No disrespect to Diamond Fire TV, but, would be weird if it was Anakin's perspective. Young Ahsoka. I got 2 sources on this. Ariana Greenblatt is the young Ahsoka. That's correct. Author's note. Full credit to Broken Hawk on Discord for willing this into existence. The great leaker they are. Before the episode aired, extra points for getting the amateur news profile on Twitter and profile their spitballing as fact. I don't know what's going on there. I just asked this Ariana Greenblatt here, and I got Ariana Greenblatt likes.
Wow, did that change that? Did that move the ball on the series or being? I mean, she was the kid, but you know what I mean. Like,
yeah.
I mean, but do you? I don't know. I just like. I don't know, man. It's so weird with casting, like.
Well, here's why I did because the Savannah Stein thing, there were people grifting on that for like the whole time. That's why that sort of permeated and became a thing. Bestman says, I've heard mixed things regarding the young Ahsoka actress, and so I'm unsure if this is accurate.
It's a big deal.
Yeah,
take it back.
No, but then when I was reporting that the Ariana Greenblatt thing on my show, Bestman was with me and supporting me because he also knew that to be the case. I believe that's how that happened. So anyways, so I'm, credit to Bestman too, I think.
Thanks, Bestman.
So economics of the evil converted, it's not Savannah Stein. Yeah, that's a debunk. Clone Wars flashes. What else we got here? Yeah, I too have heard of the Ryloth appearance. So yeah, there's Ryloth and Siege of Mandalore. Siege of Mandalore, I believe this is the last sequence before Ahsoka's pulled out of the dream sequence. Yeah, but also the Siege of Mandalore was a Bestman Bulletin one as well. And then I was able to build on what Bestman had said to know that was the cut from there to back to the main story. So, so once again, MSW's interpretation of the sequence. Yeah, and that's, whatever. I've heard rumblings about live action Siege of Mandalore. Oh, here it is, being part of the episode. Even a quick glimpse of the Battle of Teth. Okay, so he did. Here we go. They are crediting him there. So good. That should have been a little higher above. And some of the stuff should have dates. I feel like, though, I gotta say, like if they do this again in the future, I think the dates are very important. Who said it first? Because you have people that just take my stuff and build on it too. Not seeing anybody in this document, but just it happens. They make it sexier. So look at what I've said on November 5th, and then look at what so and so on Twitter is saying on November 10th, and you're like, oh yeah, they're just copying it. So dates would be good, especially for Bestman on that one, because I think he might have said that one before me. Anakin Vader Hayden. According to Bestman Bulletin sources, Anakin shows up in episode 5 wearing his Clone Wars armor from the show. Very, very correct. There is only one flashback scene with
and now
Hayden.
Fans can shut up about wanting to see it, right? We did it.
So yes and no, there were multiple flashbacks, but Hayden was de-aged. The team also brought Anakin. The team who brought Anakin to the screen for Obi-Wan Kenobi will be returning for another live-action project, likely Ahsoka.
About the de-aging thing, by the way, that very well could just be a good makeup job. I've watched it 3 times now on a 4K and a 1080p.
Dude, on Kenobi, they did de-aging, and you just, I don't get it, man. I don't know what's going on. To be honest with you, it's so fucking like, what?
Right.
You know what I mean? I don't get it. I just straight up don't understand what.
Well, that's because it's not a replicatable effect. It's like chance.
Yeah.
It's whatever the algorithm spits out on you. Like,
yeah,
put in the slot machine, see what comes out now. Bink.
But, yeah, I either with Kenobi, they either went and de-aged and then decided not to use it, or they just decided to go with like a camera effect or something to like, soften the image like an Instagram filter. I don't know what they did. I hopefully if I remember, I'll try to get more on that just so we know, the team who brought Vader to the screen is bringing back Vader. According to MSW, so Tom McConnell's stunt Starfighter is returning to the role of Darth Vader exclusively for a significant sequence in the story. The wording was not in quotes on MSW's site, so that might not be directly from his sources. O'Connell is being fitted for a new suit, a different one of the suit used in Kenobi. Apparently, the changes to reflect the timeline in which the Vader sequence takes place. So, at the end of the day, I'd say that change didn't actually matter. I don't think it mattered what the change was on the suit. It could have been any of the suits. So, I don't know. I'm going to mark myself as who cares on that one.
The suit of silhouette. They just did the lightning flash thing with them, right?
Yeah. The suit of Darth Vader will be lightsaber fighting. Going to hold out on the significant sequence and lightsaber fighting part just in case Vader shows up again. No, he doesn't. I don't think he does. But the thing about it is when you see him going off into the distance and it's flashing, they still had to film Darth Vader with the lightsaber going down the thing and doing the move. Then they just cut into Hayden doing it too. So, you know what I mean? What do you want to say it's wrong? I mean, so what was happening is going off the lightsaber fight. In response to the question of whether we see Vader, yes. So, as economics legal said that, yeah. So Rex is in episode 5, but it's not Temuera Morrison in the armor. Sources believe it's his voice, though he doesn't take the helmet off. There is phase 1 and phase 2 armor for the Rex in the show. He has lines making Star Wars on the stream. That's correct. Voice only, economics legal. Yeah.
Really
hard to mark
series.
This one incorrect, as one could see they meant Temuera Morrison's involved. Yeah, of course he was completely correct. He is dead wrong about Rex. Just a heads up. Me and my friends works for a VFX studio. It will only be his voice. From what I saw, seems like an awful lot of work to just waste. So I can confidently say Rex will not be voice only. And then that's correct.
It was just voice only.
Yeah, we're saying Temuera Morrison. I don't know who he's responding to, if it's me or economics, but me and economics and Bestman Bulletin, I think, we're all saying it's just Temuera Morrison doing the voice. That's it. And
he's not physically there with his face.
Yeah, and I know it was a different actor in the suit. For what it's worth, I know that for sure. From what I've been hearing, the scenes featuring Temuera Morrison
we
as
could
Rex.
Tell if you want me to be a little mean about it.
yeah.
Just saying.
We can tell. From what I've been hearing, the scenes featuring Temuera Morrison as Rex were for the Clone Wars era scenes, and I have heard nothing of present day Rex being featured. Excuse me. I don't know if those scenes feature Rex with his helmet on or about. Correct. That's from Bestben. Alternate versions of yes, Mustafar was either cut or incorrectly reported. Yeah, I would, like I said, the most of the things that all happen end up being like the same thing. I say that I 100% it's been cut, but I'm fairly certain. I know someone who's seen the full thing and it wasn't in the version they saw. Another person told me about the World Between Worlds content and said Mustafar is not in that moment. And so at least I got to correct, you know what I mean, the thing. But when you get down to it, the sequence is the same. You know what I mean? So they're saying all of this stuff is incorrect.
Know what I mean, Vern? Know what I mean?
Yeah. But yeah, so like that's so here we go. So like I said, all of the things that it happened in that thing is still fucking like actually pretty true. Ahsoka is changed. That's like economics legal. That stuff's all correct. Yeah, because this guy got to see it. You could tell he saw it. Or somebody who saw it told him everything about it. We get a cool moment with Jason in 5, economics legal, correct. So Ahsoka is going to be pulled out of the water, won't exit out of a portal to where Ezra is. Brendan Wayne's character is the one who pulls her out. That's back in there again. Okay. Yeah, Ahsoka follows Morgan and her allies to where Thrawn is. Okay, yeah. I mean, I was a little presumptuous on that one with Sabine. So, but still kind of true, she just kind of follow them, just she's prisoner. But underwater scenes was from IMDb. Yeah, cool. Episode 6 and Ahsoka's involvement.
Mistake making her a prisoner. She should have willingly just gone.
Yeah,
she's gonna get the same shit either way narratively from the other characters. So better to willingly do it. Make the character make the decision versus trying to take away some agency because you put her in handcuffs.
Yeah,
like she can make a mistake and learn from it. It's not. That's literally the whole point of Luke's redemption with Anakin. You can't sit there and say Anakin's the greatest character ever. Well, that means he had to have learned his fucking mistakes. right, and owned up to them, and so like give her a chance to make a mistake. Don't be like, but no, technically I was a prisoner, and then it kind of backtracked on the deal. No. It's like making Lando a general. Like, I don't know about that one. Give him he should have been on the boots. It should have been Han and Lando on the Endor moon, and put Chewie in the Falcon and Jedi. Leia lead.
Right.
That's what I'm saying. But give Lando a chance to redeem. He's a general. You just betrayed Han Solo, and they're like everyone murdered.
Yeah.
Gotta be a little fallout from that. Like sitting in incognito for 6 months in Jabba's stinky palace. Although not an easy job, is not general material.
Yeah.
Like anyone can become a general in the Alliance, like, or rebellion, whatever.
Yeah. So like this one right here, once again, I feel like I was saying, like, the people were calling this like the new beyond or new space, and I'm like, never did I really believe it would be said like that in the show. That was how sources were, you know what I mean, going with it. The new galaxy has not been called this within the show, is what they say. Yeah. It says it was also implied that magic users in the Star Wars universe we have seen before originate from this very place, and we have seen outcasts from there in past Star Wars tales. Both Yvonne Sockno and Deanna Lee Insanto and Ahsoka have connections to this locale. And it's all yes and no. Yes to the Night Sisters operatives, but Shin not from there. Right. But she does work there. You know what I mean? That's the whole thing in the end. She does end up joining them there. Assumed placement: Morgan, Balin, and Shin find Thrawn with his new bodyguard named Enoch, who looks like a golden Destro from G.I. Joe with samurai influences.
He does.
Yeah. Once again,
he also looks like the Roman face mask. He also looks like half the villains in Elden Ring. He also looks like, you know what I mean? Like, you could go on this forever and ever, but yeah, you were right. Like,
Enoch is in episode 6, a Captain Phasma type, making Star Wars stream. I don't know. Did Bespin say that on my stream too? I can't remember. Thrawn's ship, the Chimera, will be in the show. Yeah. There are undead stormtroopers in the show. They have golden cracks or yellow veins running through their exterior, much like Kylo's helmet from episode 9. They have magic red bands tied around various parts of their armor, reforged by the Night Sisters.
Can we get a date on that one too?
I know. Yeah, I have to say, my like critique of this.
If that's all you had, you'd still have a bigger hit rate than Roka on the hot mic. Like, I love Roka, but you know what I mean? Like, guy gets one thing sort of right, you'll never hear the end of it. Look at all this shit. Like,
but that's the whole thing. It's like, when was the stuff set? Like I lots of respect. Economics Legal did a good job completely. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's a lot of work.
But it's a different, like what the way he's doing what he's doing and what I'm doing are from two different timelines in this thing, And he did a great job, and like all of that is like great confirmation on a ton of stuff. You know what I mean? Like right here, he says Peridia has Andor Highland vibes, right? Yeah, I don't know if my thing's in here, but I'm like talking about how like they planted all that tall grass and stuff, and I called it the Nodian Highlands. Like, yeah, Highlands. See, like we're saying the same thing on that. You know what I mean?
It does, but it still feels like it was shot on a set. Andor feels like they were outside. Even if they were outside, it just, there's just the way it's graded and shot and blah 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 blah.
Yeah.
Plus the mixture of the volume sets on Peridia, like sometimes like the pill bug stuff is really weird how that stuff gets stitched together between whatever they shot. If they did shoot anything outside, I don't know. It doesn't feel like they shot anything outside to me, but like
they filmed a lot outside actually.
So they film out. It's just weird how the color grading. That's why I do pay a lot of attention to Hugo's Desk, the YouTube channel Hugo's Desk, because he's a professional compositor. And a lot of times when people think CG off, it's not the CG, it's the compositing. So it's something I'm still a student on. I've only in the past 2 years have been really focusing on compositing.
When they film outside in that place, there's a giant fence around the perimeter. That giant fence is lined with blue screens.
Right. So this is just a compositing issue with lighting and everything else. And blah, blah, blah.
Yeah. And then I say, so this one right here, I remember thinking of the Nodi as being little people, little lobster people. And that was correct. But I also I already said that like before. That wasn't September 18th wasn't the first time I had said that. I said that in a different thing with Nodi and the Nodian Highlands and all that stuff, I believe. Unless I don't think I held that back. Maybe I did, but I don't know. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I did. But anyways, who knows? MSW also noted that he was getting his info around the same time what he planned as the lobster guards from the Mandalorian season, which you saw different concept. He does not. Yeah, no. I was like, lobster? Are they lobsters? And the truth is, on that stream, I was trying to remember hermit crabs, and I said lobsters, and I was like, but there was a lobster guards, is what they were calling them around the Mando 3 set for the Praetorians. So, yeah. So there we go. C3PO is in from economics legal. It's good. What else have we got? Anakin is shown as a hologram in episode 7. Bespin Bolton confirms this. Yeah, that was true. There's Thor Ragnarok moment. You can't beat me. I don't have to beat you. Explosion. You know the drill. That's a good way of putting that scene. Ezra has that's from like economics legal. Ezra has quite a few action scenes in the show, but it's unclear if he has a new lightsaber in them. And I say
thought that
Ezra,
was Ant-Man. I thought that was Ant-Man that you don't have to beat you.
No, I don't know.
It's from Quantumania when he says, "You can't beat me. I don't have to beat you." Yeah, that's
okay. Nerd.
Yeah.
Ezra will use the Force.
Yeah, I'm a fucking nerd.
Ezra will use the Force in a way compared to Luke Skywalker destroying the hut on Octu. So it's going Hadoukens, and yeah, he does a little fist of fury. That's correct. What else we got? Ezra stunts actually confirmed by Rosario Dawson that Michelle Lee and a comment left on Amon Esfandi's Instagram. Great job yesterday. You killed it. Oh man, I didn't see that. That's pretty funny. But Ezra and Sabine have action scenes together, and Sabine uses her lightsaber. Yeah. And that's the thing, is her lightsaber is his lightsaber. And Ahsoka jumps out of a ship and roly-polies down a hill to face off with Balin, who waits for her. Yeah, that's true. He does do that. But there we go. We did it. Uh-oh. Okay. My screen is back. So yeah, that was how it all went down. That was what we were saying before the final episode. And yeah, like I said, a lot of that stuff is what I'm saying. It's like you got to remember when I'm saying what I'm saying. There's such a difference between saying something like a year and a half ago and saying it this week. Doesn't mean I'm saying that like somebody's not as good as me or something like that. That's crazy talk. What I mean is like a lot of information, official and otherwise, trailers have come out and stuff. So when you start to try to like grapple with the info, it's a way different beast. It just is. But yeah, but there we go. I feel pretty good about the work I did on.
I feel insulted when people don't believe you, because I'm like, we could make up way better shit than this. Like,
oh, if I was gonna make up,
I get very. That's why I get angry about. I'm like, I don't want to sit here and make up things about ribbons and Ezra doing force push with rock lobsters. Like, I can make up way cooler fucking shit than this. Like
yeah,
like, it's like, all right, this is yeah, here we are. It's cool. It's not, predictions.
So, yeah. Oh, no. What other predictions for 8? Well, Star Wars Santa does a prediction show, so that's a pretty good one. I think he'll probably do that tomorrow, I would think. And where he'll go into 8, and you can fill out a form that he posts and like do your predictions there.
Something Zepho, something Grisk, something
Plagueis. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah.
But yeah, but so he'll do that. No, I don't think we'll do that. But what I do think is going to happen next time is there's going to be the race to get to the ship before it leaves. You're going to think that our good guys can contend with what's out there before them. We're going to see the threads of destiny activated, and we'll see, the bad guys reinforce themselves with their dead troopers. So as long as they can pick up their bodies from the battlefield, they're ready to go again. They
just called the show Threads of Destiny.
Yeah, I know. It'd be cool if it was like called that, and like Thrawn wore like a red leather outfit like Eddie Murphy in Raw,
the Thriller jacket.
Like the Thriller, but like a purple one or a blue one, I don't care. White one, why not? But, like pops his collar, he's like, here we go, Threads of Destiny.
Somebody could make those stormtroopers with ribbons do the Thriller dance, right? Somebody can do that. Certainly. We have Unreal, we could do it.
They'll do it. But Yeah, so I kind of think that then we're gonna have them get back home, return, and like I said, I believe somebody's left behind, and my sources have led me to believe that it's one of the main three protagonists, and since then, another source has come and said it's definitely not Ezra though, that it's like a trade off. So it makes me think either Sabine or Ahsoka is left behind. But if I didn't have that info, I would be like, oh, it's going to be Balin who's left behind, clearly. And leaving Balin behind might be a way of removing him from the future stories and then having that character come back recast in a few years when we kind of have forgot about him and he comes back as a new threat with something else. I don't know. I'm just guessing what it could be. But right now, from what I believe, based off of from firsthand sources, is a character will be left behind. And it's probably Ahsoka. And the reason that we guessed that is, like we said, she's essentially a god. And you remove her from the table. Now Ezra Bridger and Sabine, the youngins, have to prove themselves as war. It's like it's just like in the sequel trilogy. You can have Luke Skywalker come out and do it all for Rey, the new protagonist.
Yes, you can. He literally lifts the X-wing out for her. She didn't have to do anything.
So, listen, dude, sometimes a man will hold the door for a woman, okay? It's not sexist, okay? It's just being nice.
Guys come out and lift X-wings now. That's great. Thanks, JJ. Yeah. Made it all better.
I personally like once again, because we can do it better. I would have had Rey do the X-wing out of the water herself, probably in the previous film, to be honest with you, to get back instead of having the Kylo thing. And I would have probably had Luke use the Force to pull the old Leia lightsaber. I would have had him having like buried it on Octu, and I would have had his ghost fucking make that shit rise out, and then her take it like goddamn Excalibur. You see what I'm saying, Rob?
A lady in the lake, the Force hand appears out the water.
Yeah, Luke's hand, fucking
Luke's hand.
You know what I mean?
Is it the robot hand or the one floating out in space? Or
and then at the end it does this. It tosses it and goes.
Since Hayden de-ages when he's a ghost, does Luke have a baby hand? Just a baby hand?
A little baby, a little
yeah. Little hand. He's got the little kid hand. Yeah.
Yeah, I heard that they rotoscoped the hand from Revenge of the Sith and from the little baby Luke.
Okay.
Yeah, that's
that's the one.
I don't know if I've ever wasted your time with this shit. There were these people that were going around, probably Rayla's, going around, and they were showing Rey on Tatooine, but pregnant, because she's pregnant with Kylo's baby, and that's the new movie.
Oh, Immaculate Conception. We're going back to this, aren't we?
No, she got pregnant because they kissed in episode 9, dude.
Oh,
that's how
got her. He spit down her throat with the midi-chlorians.
Right. What people don't know is that ejaculation happens through the mouth in the Star Wars universe.
Yeah, and the wills are really just polygamist orgy microbial cells that have raves in your mouth and then impregnate you when you kiss. Okay.
And that's what George Lucas was talking about, that microbial world, you know?
Every time you complain about the Reylos, just blame Lucasfilm for wanting them in the picture in the first place. Like, I hate to do it, but it's the truth.
No,
they wanted this. They brought this upon themselves.
I blame the parents. These
what happens if one of your kids becomes a Reylo in the future just to spite you? Like...
I wanted those. By definition, I would be a Reylo. I wanted them to romantically be involved. I wanted that to be a thing, and then I wanted then that way the Skywalker saga or Skywalker lineage continues, and Rey is a part of it, like unquestionably. And for those characters, you know what I mean? So I wanted it to go that way. I was cool with that. But the whole thing where, like, if that's not happening, I will fucking destroy you, and I will harass Adam Driver's wife into not being his wife anymore. Like, that shit's fucking nuts. You know what I mean? Like, fucking nuts.
Unintended consequences.
And so watch your kids online. That's all I could say. Know what they're doing.
Watch. You gotta be careful. We're big on spelling now.
Watch.
Yeah.
Okay, Brendan Wayne is gonna watch your kids online. How's that?
In a world where people type completely in emojis, we're big on spelling. Like, all right. Sure.
Hey, roll
You
without we
got me.
live then.
You got me.
Yeah.
I should just speak in birthday cake, clowny face, eggplant, fireworks. You know.
Yeah, I could have used actually was the Noti. I'm actually a little disappointed in them in the big picture. I feel like the actual like work that went into it was a design, and then they just hung it on who's the little fucker who makes IG-12? Those little
Babu Freak.
Babu Fricks, yeah. And basically they were just it was like those should have just been Babu Fricks in the end because it's like the same voice and the same almost everything. So I could have used a little bit more on those guys in retrospect, but at the same time, encountering the little creatures who you underestimate who end up playing into winning the day is a very Star Warsy theme and idea and concept. And I do
but they have
think
to
that
actually fight or do something. Like, I don't know.
well, they're pacifists, but they that's what they say. But they are fighting. They are using slingshots and stuff, and which once again Ewoks using bows and arrows and stuff like it's the same. I think Ewoks may have even used slingshots in the cartoon. Do they use it in the show in the movie? I don't remember now. But okay, yeah. Well, no, they have those little things that knocks himself out. That's what I'm thinking. But I think that they will likely play into the end. I think that they may come into the end and the end battle and help him win the day and help our characters escape. You know, that's a prediction that I have. If I do Santa's prediction form, which I plan on doing, I'll probably put that. That's what's going to happen. That's going to be my prediction. That those little crab people will come out and help them in the end. You know, in the end, and that's going to be how they end up winning. That's probably better for them too because it's removing those heathens off of their planet, which will probably be a good thing for them as well. But sure. Yeah. But tomorrow, we'll either do the show late tomorrow night. I got class, so it depends on what time I get out, but we'll probably do the show late tomorrow night because it's like the last one, so I probably will want to do the show.
Bed around that time now, man. Like,
yeah.
Can we just do it the following morning? Do we have to do it that
I don't know because it's like the finale. That's the whole thing. That's kind of why I want to do it. But if you're not up to it, I can just do it. Share my shit. Go to bed. Wake up in the morning and we can do the. I'll watch it again.
7 my time. Well, it's on 7 my time. Yeah. But you're not gonna get home till 9 your time.
I'll probably I might get home between 8:20 and 9 if the traffic's bad. If the traffic's not bad, and sometimes I get out like 7:30. I never know when this person's going to let me out of class. So,
why don't I just sit that one out because everyone's going to want to hear how great it was. And then I'll show up in a day
and then the next morning and you could,
well, you always take like a week off after a big review.
No,
you go on Santa's show and then we have like 2 weeks. We don't have to do a show. So, yeah.
Well, I'll definitely do it. We'll definitely
I don't want to ruin your engagement on that last episode.
Oh, yeah. But yeah, well, we'll see how. I'll talk to you. We'll see how like motivated you are to like do it. But that's I think the best plan. We'll just do the post show tomorrow night. Then the next morning we'll do another show and we'll move on from there. All right. Well, speaking of school, I do got to get going to it. So, thank you to everybody for all of the super chats today. Thank you, Conchu,
Thanks everybody,
Shogun,
thank you,
Quentin Rothman for being the first supporter on Spotify. Rob, you gotta do your thing now.
Yeah,
Mumbo Jimbo.
I don't have to do it. I have to go. Filoni's writing 2 films, 6 series, and a haiku for
that's
Kathleen.
Right.
That's just for personal Kathleen usage. She demands a haiku every month, and what you got to do to pay the bills. So
that's right. That's the way it goes. But
maybe I'll share the haiku with Quinn. How about that?
And thank you to everybody for, like I said, always supporting the show, liking the video. Like I said, Spotify is a good place to listen to the show. If you're like, you can't have your eyes glued to the screen, Spotify is a good place. But also YouTube, we got our channel members, and I like to prioritize conversing with them, like this last little bit from Jonesy, channel member. Can we talk about how fucked up Sabine is? Oh, sorry, Master. I thought you were dead. So that's why I made the choice to follow Balin and get in the pants of Ezra, who I badly want to force fuck. So
I brought this up already and people said I was an asshole. So, what do you want me to do?
Well, no, I think that old Ahsoka would have been like, bitch, you're fired. But new Ahsoka is like, okay, this is my apprentice. Her feelings are mine. I kind of think that that's in
Betray
the subtext.
Me.
Here.
I love it. Betray me.
Make
Why?
me fail. I love to be humiliated.
Oh yeah. Rub my face in it.
I'm a bad
Rub
little
my
wolf.
nose-
I'm a
rub my
bad little
nose in it.
wolfie.
Yeah. I'm gonna scoop my butt across the floor and protest.
Shit in my hat
Went
and
too
put it
far.
on my head. Make me feel embarrassed. Whoa.
I didn't go too far.
Whoa. Whoa there, Flonius D.
I'm gonna eat my own vomit. What? Too
I'm
far?
a dog. I'm a dog.
I'm hungry like a loath wolf.
Hungry like the loath wolf. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh man. But yeah, so I'll definitely do the show tomorrow. I don't think there's any way I can not do the finale tomorrow night. I'll be too excited. So
yeah, I could sit this one out.
You can set this one out. Yeah, and we'll see how it all goes. If they don't become zombies in tomorrow's episode, I'm just gonna put my hands up and go, it'll happen the next episode. It'll happen next time. Because they definitely that is the idea behind it.
Yeah, that's what they do. They save it for later.
That can be a methodological problem with those things, the shows. It's always like, great idea, let's not waste it here, but it's like, okay, but is the idea that you've got is good? And usually no. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
Marvel's gonna save you that good film for 5 years from now. You just gotta put up with it.
And thank you, Rural Farm Boy, for being a channel
Can't
member and always tweeting out our shows. I appreciate that, man. I can't always like it. Sometimes I miss because you do it every time. I love you for that. I appreciate it a lot. It says audio tomorrow. Keep me company at work. Yeah, and that's a good place, like I said, where Spotify comes in for that stuff. And video obviously is probably the best on YouTube, I'd say.
And I do appreciate the keeping people company at work. I mean that. When I did go to a day job, that really was my bread and butter. Was just like, oh, it was just Jason who's got something today? I can hear people, beyond pretending to be ESPN News with Star Wars.
Yeah.
So I'm so over that fucking format.
Yeah. Would you say that was like initially like the Collider format for it, like that? Like
it's John Campia. He said it himself. That was his whole.
Okay.
He brought that with AMC Movie Talk, the whole bit. Yeah.
Yeah.
He wanted to be ESPN of movie news. Like, yeah, great.
Yeah. I'm not saying campy. I don't know anything about him. I don't care. But it's like that whole thing to me, like it tacitly says, oh, nerds are huge pussies. So like, let's fucking macho this up. So we're not huge fucking pussies. All of you, myself included, are all a bunch of pussies. Let's just be nerds. That's where I come at this from personally. But hey, EJ,
the only one I think who could pull that off successfully was Umberto, because he's such a snazzy dresser. And
Umberto though.
He's a real macho.
He's not macho though. He's not macho. He is a
nerd.
He's combing his hair more than my girlfriend, man. So let's just.
My favorite. He's married now, but before he was married, my favorite is he got a Deathstroke statue, and he's like, my girlfriend hates me. She doesn't like that. It's like one of those giant. I got one of those Prime 1 statues. I got the Nightfall Batman, so I know how much room that shit takes up. My wife hates it too. Like nothing angers a woman more, like a sane woman, more than a giant nerd statue. So
make a statue of myself. It's statue EJ. Thank you for being a channel member, man. I always appreciate that. Yeah. All right, guys. We'll see everybody tomorrow. Rob, say bye. Should we let George wrap us out?
Hit it, homie.
I'm just like that man they call George, the proven kind. I'll break the girls' hearts and I'll make them cry. I'm like the dog being peak, a freak without warning, not having appetite for love. Cause me so horny.
Me so horny. Me so horny. Me so horny. Me love you long time.